So this is a reaction video to my boy Get This Smoke before I get out of here, get something to eat, come back and start continue my sales. So Get This Smoke. This is for you because you made some arguments about Floyd not being TBE. And I have counter arguments to those arguments, and I thought I would go into it in some detail. Why he is the best ever. Now you said that CompuBox punch stats say that Floyd Mayweather, they don't register for every single fight through history because there's not footage on every single fighter through history. This is very true. In the case of Sugar Ray Robinson, for example, we don't have a lot of footage of him at welterweight. We have some footage of him at welterweight. There are some welterweight fights out there. I've seen him fight at welterweight, and he looked pretty much the same like how he fights at middleweight. Nonetheless, some people think he was faster and all of that. His style is basically the same. But the point is that we have footage, extensive footage of Sugar Ray Robinson throughout his middleweight and light heavyweight career, as well as some footage of him. He didn't have many welterweight championship fights. There's one fight that's almost complete that we see at welterweight, his last fight at welterweight, but also had a number of snippets of other fights that he had with other opponents. But anyway, the point is that we have footage of him. So we don't have a lot of footage of Sam Langford. I think those are the two guys that you think are top, the best ever guys. But anyway, the point is that CompuBox was able to track. Now, you have to understand CompuBox is not 100% correct, but they can get some sort of ballpark figure as to, and therefore be able to develop a system which determines the accuracy of a fighter, the punches thrown, the punches landed, as well as they can determine the accuracy of his opposition to him. So there's something called a plus-minus ratio. CompuBox was able to determine the amount of punches that a fighter lands on his opponents versus his opponents landing on him, and direct that as a percentage. Connect percentage of the fighter and the connect percentage of the opponents, subtract the two. And with that plus-minus ratio, what it shows is how effective that fighter is. And Floyd, through the history of boxing, from all the footage that we have seen, CompuBox was able to track all the fights and get the averages per fight of all the fighters, and it would be able to determine Floyd Mayweather Jr., his punch stats, show that he had a plus-minus ratio, was the highest plus-minus ratio in all of boxing. Higher than Pernell Whitaker, higher than James Toney, higher than Muhammad Ali, higher than Roy Jones Jr., higher than Lomachenko, higher than Terrence Crawford, higher than Timothy Bradley, higher than Andre Ward, higher than Mike McCallum, higher than Charlie Burley, higher than Sugar Ray Robinson, higher than, Willie Pett. And these are all defensive fighters. Pride themselves in not getting hit and hitting. And Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s CompuBox stats are higher than all of them. Joe Louis, the great Joe Louis, higher than him. Now, this is very important to understand because this is a compilation of data. It's factual data. And the only thing that you could counter-argue to that, your only counter-argument you can have is maybe the level of opposition that Floyd Mayweather had was so much inferior to the level of opposition that these other guys face. And to that, I can easily say, there are two counter-arguments I see you coming with, because I'm helping you out. The first counter-argument would be that, one, Floyd wasn't consistently facing a large amount of opposition. All right? You could probably argue that. The second is, maybe you can say that the level of opposition that these guys faced was probably higher and tougher than the level of opposition that Floyd Mayweather Jr. faced. But if you're going to come with an argument like that, then you really have to come correct, because here's the thing. When I look at Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s opposition, it's damn impressive. Very, very impressive. We're talking about Hall of Famers. Particularly in his welterweight career, he faced some really top tier guys. Super lightweight, he didn't have a very extensive super lightweight career, and he didn't have a very extensive lightweight career. But when we talk about Jose Luis Castillo, who is in the top 25 lightweights of all time, it's very impressive. When we talk about Diego Corrales, who was classed in the top also 20 lightweights of all time, it's very impressive as well. Was a very dominant lightweight, as well as Jose Luis Castillo. Him, along with Joel Casimiro, Acelino Freitas, Juan Lascanzo, Julio Diaz, Paul Spadafora, and several other lightweights. The division was pretty hot at the time. Oh yes, Stevie Johnson, to mention just a few very impressive lightweights of that time. Floyd Mayweather was in that mix. You could argue that Floyd didn't face Paul Spadafora and those other guys. But as to, Leonard Doran, he had a couple of them, really good ones. So, when you're talking about Floyd Mayweather, these are some of the things you got to think about, put into perspective. Should open this up also. I'm not going to be here for a couple minutes, but at least... Oh, man. Handspring. Yeah, I'm going to use the other hand. So, this is where you can try to make an argument, but when you're making your argument, you got to figure out what exactly you're talking about, because... there's some legendary fighters we're talking about here. Jose Luis Castillo is a legendary fighter. In fact, one of the most legendary fights of all time, and occurred on Showtime, was Castillo versus Diego Corrales. It's literally a legendary fight. So if you say that Jose Luis Castillo, is not a legendary fighter, then you're really saying some really crazy ass shit. Can't put down Jose Luis Castillo. All right, you can't put down Diego Corrales either. But anyway, back to what I was saying. So, those are some of the guys that Floyd beat. In fact, another argument that some people put forward, I didn't say you made this argument, but a lot of people put forward this argument that Mayweather, he didn't face many lineal champions, and he didn't face many Hall of Famers. Of course, that's a ludicrous statement, because there's going to be a number of Hall of Famers that are going to end up in the Boxing Hall of Fame. Miguel Cotto's show a ballot Hall of Fame. Oscar De La Hoya is already a ballot Hall of Famer. We have Shane Mosley is going to go into the Boxing Hall of Fame. Marquez is going to go into the Boxing Hall of Fame. Pacquiao is going to go into the Boxing Hall of Fame. Canelo is going to go into the Boxing Hall of Fame. Zab Judah is going to enter in the Boxing Hall of Fame. We know these things already, right? So he's more than likely going to be facing, at the end of his career, he's going to have several Hall of Fame. All right? I'm not talking about in the International Boxing Hall of Fame. There's the World Boxing Hall of Fame as well. But my point anyway is this. That if you look at Mayweather's career, and people talk about how, his wins were not against the kind of standard of opposition like these other fighters. And that's why his punch stats, his plus-minus ratio shouldn't be counted like the others. You have to really put that into consideration. I'll show you what I mean. So, for example, Floyd Mayweather against Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao had a 19% connect percentage. 19% to Floyd's 40-something percent. Nobody questions that Manny Pacquiao is a Hall of Famer and an all-time great. Nobody questions that. And Floyd made Manny miss like nobody's business, okay? He made him look like an amateur, all right? So, if Floyd could do that to Manny Pacquiao, who's considered one of the greatest fighters of all time, even greater than Floyd, it shows that he could deal with the level of opposition like that and dominate them. Okay. And that lines up with his CompuBox punch stats, which is the highest plus minus ratio of all time. Pacquiao played into that. So who's to question it when Floyd could do that to Manny Pacquiao? Then most of the guys that Floyd beat or fought in his career were world champions. The majority of them. In fact, he faced 22 world champions. If you're talking about WBC, WBA world champions, he faced 20 of them. And he faced them, no, sorry, he faced, I think it was 16 or 17 of them. Sorry, my bad. If you're talking about world champions who were in one of the major weight classes, that would be 15 of them he faced, who were in the major weight classes. We're talking about lightweight and welterweight or featherweight, okay, I think. And then, and we're talking about WBC, WBA champions. We're not talking about IBF. We're not talking about WBO. If we include world champions who were super featherweight world champions, and champions who were super lightweight world champions, because and champions who were super welterweight world champions, okay, we have several of them, okay. We have several of them, but it doesn't make a difference. I don't think it changes too much of the rating, because what happens is that in the time of Sugar Ray Robinson, the super welterweight division was started, and in his time there was also it was called the super welterweight division, and in his time also, because the WBC came up with the super welterweight division. I think the first guy to be in the super welterweight division was either Joey Giardello or one of those guys. I can't remember who exactly it was. And in his time also, there was the junior welterweight division. All right, one of the guys that he beat was a junior welterweight champion from Canada. And then there was also the super featherweight, aka the junior lightweight division as well. All right. And why I say this is because if you're going to include that, you have to include those divisions as well. If you're talking about Sugar Ray Robinson versus Floyd Mayweather, that is. If you're talking about Sam Lanford, I think it was a different time. That was a little bit earlier. But there was an introduction for a minute of the junior lightweight division as well as the junior welterweight division. Those two divisions were included. And then around the time of Sugar Ray Robinson, somewhere in the 1960s, early 1960s, I think it was 1962 or 1963, we had the WBC first, starting with the super welterweight division, and then we had the WBA following up with it. So, Sugar Ray Robinson actually ended up facing Danny Moyer, I think was the guy's name, and Joey Giardello. I think those were the first two WBC, WBA champions. I think it's something like that, respectively. I think I can't remember. But the point is that if you're dealing with Floyd and Sugar Ray Robinson, you have to include those divisions because they count those guys as champions. Now, the other thing I listened to was a lot of people say, well, Sugar Ray Robinson faced more lineal champions. Yeah, he faced more lineal champions than Floyd Mayweather. I agree with that. Talked about like 15 or 19 lineal champions. But back then, there was a lot of lineal. The lineal title was easy to get. It was just face one guy, and he's the lineal champion, and you got the lineal title. That's how it generally went, unless the guy vacated, right? Nowadays, with several different belts, it's very hard to get. I mean, you can face the lineal champion as well, but some lineal champion moves up. Like Floyd, for example, was the lineal champion in several divisions, but then he moved up. So it vacated the title. So you had to have the number one facing the number two. Otherwise, you wouldn't have no lineal champion. So today's world, the lineal champion is kind of harder to get to. But we all know lineal champion is cool, but it's not necessarily the way to define the actual champion of the division. And the same thing with undisputed. So we've talked about this in detail. Another thing I wanted to make a point of is, a lot of times people talk about how he faced so many world champions, like Floyd faced 22 world champions. Yeah, okay, cool. What does that mean, bro? That doesn't mean much, Sugar Ray Robinson faced, I think, was 20, 24, 25, something like that, 26. But the thing about it is this. Here's my point. What's the use facing some guy who was a champion, okay, but he's not a champion anymore, right? That means what? Is he on the top of his game still? or is he at the top of what he can do? Possibly, is he really good, or has he lost multiple times and he ain't all that anymore? These are the questions. But if the guy is actually a world champion, now it make more sense. It was like what I was talking about with Lomachenko versus Canelo. Lomachenko, he faced a guy, Anthony Corolla, but he got defeated twice by Jorge Linares. Then he came and faced Lomachenko. I mean, he weren't no longer world champion. So you ain't really meeting a guy at the top of his game. A guy at the top of his game, no matter if he's fading, and he'd been a world champion before, would be a world champion to be at the top of his game, in my opinion. Or at least if he didn't get the opportunity to become world champion, be fighting guys who are notable names and beating them, right? That's not the case with Lomachenko, and it's not necessarily the case with Floyd and Sugar Ray Robinson. We talking about Sugar Ray Robinson beating all these champions, but there's a time when he wasn't even a world champion. He was facing those guys, and they weren't world champions either, right? So, talking about beating world champions, what are you talking about? Former world champions? Future world champions? What does that mean? If you're talking about current world champions, now that make more sense to me. All right, guys who are currently a world champion, you beat those guys. Sugar Ray Robinson beat more, but then he had a lot more fights. So when you look at it in terms of quality and in terms of number of fights, Floyd still has the bigger ratio per fight, that is, of the possibility of facing a world champion. So I don't really look at it. And then again, when you look at the champions that Floyd faced and the champions that Sugar Ray Robinson faced, again, I make the point that Floyd had comparably good champions that he faced as well. They're not in the Boxing Hall of Famers yet, but they're going to be, like I said before, you're talking about Manny Pacquiao. That name alone says a lot. Okay. That's an incredible fighter. That's an incredible fighter to start with. Then on his resume, you also have Miguel Cotto. That's an incredible fighter as well. Then you got Manuel Marquez. You got, Mosley. You got Oscar. You got Zab Judah. You got Gennaro Hernandez. You got Diego Corrales. You got Jose Luis Castillo. These are the best of the lot I'm talking about here. All right. And they're not just one style. They're not just come forward fighters. They're thinking fighters. They're different kinds of fighters up in there. You know what I'm saying? Right. We talk about Marcus Maidana, but he's not probably going to be in the Boxing Hall of Fame. He was an effective boxer, but I'm just talking about the best of his group there, right? So I mean, when you're talking about this, you got to look at that. You have to pay attention to those details. You know what I'm saying? Publicis stroke. You're talking about Floyd again. It's going to trigger some people. Ain't no problem. But I'm not talking about Floyd at present. I'm not talking about that crap where you say he's coming back. I don't really care about that. I'm talking about his career, because once again, some people keep on trying to trash Floyd's career, but you can't. Like it's so airtight when it comes to his career. You can't really. You can knock his cherry pick of Andre Berto, and you could knock a little bit of the Conor McGregor fight, but in the context of what it was, people actually believe that Conor McGregor would beat Floyd, which is stupid. But we had MMA fans who believe that. Casual ass fans that believe that. In fact, there was a press. There was a press thing put out that Floyd is the best ever because he beat Conor McGregor, and I'm like, y'all got to be tripping. You know what I'm saying? For the people in the boxing community, we know that was bullshit. But I'm going back to real talk. We're not talking bullshit right now. We're real talking right here. So I listen to a lot of people try to, because they don't ever listen to me. They try to drown me out when we're doing a discussion of that, because people get very emotional. But I have a problem with it because I come from an analytical background. Okay. So anyway, people was talking about how, Sugar Ray Robinson was a devastating knockout artist. And I'm like, well, guess what? His knockout ratio is the same as Floyd. They're identical knockout ratios. So here's what's happening. Sugar Ray Robinson knocked out a lot of people. No doubt about that. He did. But if you look at the majority of people he knocked out, they wasn't supposed to be in the ring with him, period. Right? He knocked out a guy called Ozzie Harris. Go look at his record. Right? Don't look at his record. In fact, guess what? Go try and find a fight where he fight. Or try to find the story of the fight. It didn't last very long. Right? He faced Ozzie Harris, I think it was twice or 3 times or some shit like that. Dude wasn't supposed to be in the ring with him. Okay? Charles Tron 108 says, "Get some sleep, bro. You punch drunk, bro." Nah, I'm not punch drunk. Maybe you are. Yeah. So, like I said before, you know, he knocked out the people who were supposed to knock out. Like Julio Cesar Chavez knocked out the people who were supposed to knock out. Now he's also knocked out some high-profile guys, right? But he didn't knock out Kid Gavlin. He didn't knock out Holly Mims. He didn't knock out what's the kid's name? Ralph Tiger Jones, right? He didn't knock out better fighter Jeff Horn or Buster Dude who beat Tyson. Oh, come on, dude. You serious? Buster Douglas is a much better fighter than Jeff Horn. Are you serious? Buster Douglas actually could fight. You know, Buster Douglas was he was a he was a titleist contender for a number of fights before he became world champion, beating Mike Tyson. Right? Buster Douglas was a good fucking fighter, man. All right, he never committed himself to boxing properly. Are you serious? Jeff Horn compared to Buster Douglas? Like really? Now, Jeff Horn did pull the upset against Pacquiao. Don't get it wrong, and he had a good style to deal with Pacquiao. Okay, don't get me wrong. But Buster Douglas knocked out Mike Tyson. Like he knocked him out. He flatlined his ass. Like he knocked out Mike Tyson. You know what I'm saying? Charles Tron says Floyd needs to stay retired. I agree with you, brother. I don't want to talk about Floyd like that. I'm talking about something else. Floyd TBE. I don't want to talk about that shit because as far as I'm concerned, Floyd be just fucking around, in my opinion. He's not gonna fight any top young. I don't give a fuck. Like right now, Floyd need to leave the game alone when it comes to that. He's supposed to be back in that ring. I don't know what the hell he's doing. So the fuck whatever he wants to do, that's his business. Like I don't really care. He's yesterday's news when it comes to that shit. Like I don't care about him like that. Right now we're talking about Canelo and all the and Wilder and Fury and you know Andy Ruiz and all them younger fighters right now. We in a new crop of fighters, right? But I'm just talking about the haters that talk about, or the guys who feel that Floyd was just advertising when he talked about TBE and stuff. They try to make it sound like he a marketing guy. Right now he playing the ass though. Floyd be playing the ass. I'm not gonna lie to you. But his career was not no fucking marketing strategy. It wasn't no fucking marketing strategy at all. It was genuine. It was the real deal. And a lot of people try to give Floyd flack for it. In my opinion, that's bullshit, right? I know what I saw in that ring, right? And that's where I know he's TBE, like he said. And a lot of people in the business believe the same thing. Abel Sanchez said that. He gave him the TBE mantra. And a number of other people also gave him that. Charles Tron says, you don't want to talk about it. Your title's clickbait like a motherfucker. The fuck you talking about, dude? I'm responding to a guy. Don't you realize that, dumbass? I ain't talking about his future. The fuck? And stop being an asshole, dude. I'm responding to a dude. Get this smoke. You see, getting GTS. It means get response to get this smoke. The fuck you talking about? Shit. I hate dumbass motherfuckers like you, man. Use your comprehension skills. Look at what I'm saying. Floyd is TBE, right? This is about TBE. It's not about the fucking, I don't give a fuck what he does next. I don't. So if you want to discuss that, go on some other show. Don't stay here. Yeah, so as I was saying, y'all motherfuckers don't have no comprehension skills. That's not my business if you can't understand or read. Yeah, back to what I was saying. So y'all get this so hard. Y'all have no idea. I'm not one of those guys you just fuck around with. Trust me. I'll diss your ass easy. Like that. It's easy for me to do. But I just don't do it. I try not to. But it's easy. I don't even think to do it. I have to rein it in. I say, you know what, I'm gonna rein this shit in. Right, back to what I was saying. So with Mayweather being TBE, the argument was, like, get this smoke, that the punch stats are not reflective of, you know, all the fighters, because there's not footage on all the fighters, but it's damn near reflective on most of them. Like, we got we have most of Jack Johnson's fights at championship level. We got most of Joe Lewis's fights, Joe Frazier, Muhammad Ali. You know, we don't have much of Sam Langford. We got most of Sugar Ray Robinson's fights. We got most of, Sugar Ray Leonard and all the other guys, right? Let me talk about the main ones, the top guys, Colonel Whitaker, etc. So that's how that's how they're able to determine the plus minus ratio. This is some fucking facts. Whether you like it or not, the reality of the situation is Mayweather, he hardly get hit compared to the other guys. It's just what it is. And with boxing, and motherfucking numbers don't lie. Motherfucking boxing is about hit and not get hit. He the best at it. And these are fucking facts you cannot refute. So like I was saying to people, here's the thing though. When you're talking about this, is the level of opposition the same? That's the question. That's the $150 million question. All right. So when we look at Manny Pacquiao, Miguel Cotto, we look at Shane Mosley, Oscar De La Hoya. Here's the arguments people come with. Well, it's an old Shane Mosley. What the fuck are you talking about? Of course Shane Mosley was old. He was always old. For good. It was a good minute he was old. But the question is, was Shane Mosley at the top of his fucking game? Whether he decayed or not, was he at the top of his fucking game? And the answer is yes, yes, yes. Here's where people can come with a counter argument, which I cannot refute. Well, Shane Mosley got beat by Vernon Forrest, and he got beat by Winky Wright. So Floyd knew how to beat Shane Mosley based on those two guys facing him. There you have a point. Except for one thing. Neither Vernon Forrest nor Winky Wright had the reflexes or speed that Floyd Mayweather had. He was just the quicker dude in there against Mosley. He was sharper and quicker, and he counterpunched Mosley's ass. Unlike Winky Wright, who had the southpaw stance, which Mosley still couldn't handle, and he did better in the second fight. Unlike Vernon Forrest, who had the longer fucking arms, both Floyd and Mosley had the same reach advantage. They had the same height. So we can't go with that. Floyd beat him a different way. Okay? So Mosley, why they said Mosley decayed is because he got beat by Vernon Forrest. He got beat by who's the guy I just said? Vernon Forrest and Winky Wright. Okay? That's why. Later on, I think he got beat by Miguel Cotto. I don't know if it was it was before the Floyd fight. Cotto beat him. But technically speaking, Mosley was going to knock Cotto's eyes out in that fight if he had given more time. He started warming up in the fight and walking Cotto down later on in the fight. Right? But Cotto did get the W. But Mosley was going to knock his ass out. He was beating him up pretty bad. Okay? So Cotto even got a win over him. All right? And he was fighting off the back foot. Cotto was fighting off the back foot most of that fight. And Mosley was tagging his ass up, though. It was really reining it in. Mosley knew if he had a little bit more time, he would have knocked his fucking ass out. But that's another story for another day. The point is that Shane Mosley was beaten by those guys. You can make that argument. He was beaten by those guys, so Floyd thought he could beat Mosley. All right? And for that, you'd have some credit. I cannot refute those things. I cannot argue against those things. Oscar De La Hoya. We could say that Oscar got beat by Bernard Hopkins. He got hit with a body shot, and he was beat. You could argue that. You could even argue this. You could argue that Oscar, he got beat by him, and he got beat by Mosley, which was a smaller dude. If Mosley, a smaller dude, could beat him, if Floyd, a smaller dude, could beat Oscar. Right? So you can make that argument because Mosley had to jump up 2 divisions to face Oscar, and he beat him. Floyd now, he just had to jump up 1 division and face Oscar and beat him, right? These are arguments that if you come from a boxing perspective like that, what can I say? I can't really say much, right? I got to say, well, you're right. Floyd saw the blueprint how to beat Oscar. So when he faced Oscar, he didn't really mind because he could beat him. Shout out to Boxing Monster. Floyd Royce is the best woman and iPhone snatcher, but not the best fighter ever. Maybe top 5 or 3, but I still have Ali as my TBE. Okay. Boxing Monster says, good morning. What you need? What's good? Man, I'm cool, man. I'm cool. I'm just chilling. I just don't like boxing fans who say some stupid ass shit sometimes. That's the only thing. Like they misconstrue my video and stuff. Sometimes I tongue lash them. They really shouldn't do that, but, sometimes my ego get it better on me. But shout out to you, man. So you think, you just saying stuff, though. You just saying stuff. You're not really, like, how can Muhammad Ali be the best ever? I can't see that, bro. It depends on what you believe the best ever is. If you think the best ever is the greatest, well then, okay. I guess from that perspective, yeah. But if you're talking about it in terms of boxing, ain't no fucking way Ali beats Floyd in the ring. Not pound for pound. That shit ain't happening. He ain't beating Sugar Ray Leonard in the ring. Not pound for pound. That shit ain't happening. They got too much game. And I'll put it this way. I'm going to put it this way. Ali ain't beating Canelo in the ring. He ain't beating Terrence Crawford in the ring. He's not beating Errol Spence in the ring. He's not beating Sean Porter in the ring. He's not beating Deontay Wilder in the fucking ring. And Deontay Wilder is a heavyweight. He's not beating them guys. He's just not. He's not beating Roy Jones. Well, he's not beating James Toney in the ring. He's not beating, let me see what else. He's not beating Mike McCallum in the ring. He's not beating, I'm going to tell you, he's not beating Pernell Whitaker in the ring. Pernell Whitaker rings around motherfucking Muhammad Ali's ass. Okay? He was a great heavyweight. He was phenomenal at range. He had flaws. Lesser guys beat his ass than the guys I just mentioned. All right? Lesser guys. Okay? But all them guys I just mentioned, including Sugar Ray Robinson, would have whooped his ass. All them guys I just, well, hold on a second. Muhammad Ali was an outboxer. Damn good one, but yeah, Sugar Ray Robinson would have whooped his ass because Sugar Ray Robinson would have gotten within range. He'd have whooped his ass. But Ali was quick, though. He was quick. But yeah, Sugar Ray Robinson would have whooped his ass. Manny Pacquiao would have whooped his ass, too. I've just been real with you guys because let me tell you what. Muhammad Ali was exceptional when it comes to fighting at range. He had some flaws. He got hit with left hooks. He got hit with straight jabs because he didn't block the jab properly. So if you jab properly, you could jab him. And he got caught with overhand rights. Okay? But because he was so much faster than most of the heavyweights out there, he got away with this shit. Right? But he was a range guy. But guys like Joe Frazier, who could get to the inside, very good getting to the inside, slipping under the punches, bumping under the punches, and coming up, from low to high. Caught him every time. I see Roy Jones Jr. catching him with a left hook, putting his ass down. You know what I'm saying? He was good. He was even great. But he wasn't a better fighter than Floyd and all them other guys I just mentioned. Them other guys would have whooped his ass. Okay? He would have got an ass whooping. Okay? Because he fought at range. He was not good on the inside at all. He had to clinch up. And if you're trying to fucking clinch up against Canelo, he got a strategy to get your ass off of him. All right? You saw it against Kovalev. He's not going to let you just clinch him. All right? Yeah. Muhammad Ali, great fighter. He ain't the best ever, though. He not the best ever. Jack Johnson was a better fighter than Muhammad Ali. I'm going to say that straight up. Jack Johnson was slick as a motherfucker. Have you guys seen footage of Jack Johnson? He was standing right in front of your ass and you can't hit him. Of course, it was old school. It was back in the day. But the man's 6'2", and you still can't hit him? Get out of here. Stand right in front of your ass and you still can't hit him. You're slick. That motherfucker was skilled. Boston Monster says, keep up the good work. 100%. Yeah, man. Yeah, so I was saying to you guys that Mayweather, man, I always use my litmus test as Pernell Whitaker. I always tell people, Pernell Whitaker is a perfect litmus test. If you could get past Pernell Whitaker, now you might be a challenge for Floyd. I could see Mike McCallum giving Pernell Whitaker a good fight because he gave James Toney a good fight. James Toney gives Floyd a good fight. Mike McCallum gives him a good fight. These guys got defense. You got to have fucking defense. I mean, no, not just good defense. You have a great defense. Great fucking defense. Okay? As much as Floyd outclassed Canelo got fucking great defense. His defense only went tenfold better than it was before. Okay? Canelo's defense went up because of Floyd. Okay? And Canelo got fucking great defense. He's got lots of skills like Floyd. He can do a lot of things in that ring. And Floyd can do a lot of things in that ring. That's why he can make adjustments, adapt to different fighters. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So, when it comes to plus-minus ratio, Floyd got that. He got the best fucking plus-minus ratio. Why this is important is because what it tells you is a lot of people say, Floyd goes into fights that he thinks he can win. Well, Floyd thinks he can win against anybody. He always thinks he can win. And he prepares himself for every single fight. So when I hear people say Floyd goes into fights that he thinks he could win, Well, motherfucker, he think he can win every fight. You're supposed to have that attitude. Like that's the thing I never quite understood. Like, oh, he was afraid to lose his. Oh, I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? He don't talk about it like that. He only think about winning. He don't think about losing. You go in a ring with the attitude that I can't afford to lose. Listen, man, you prepare your ass off, and you go in there to win. And whatever's gonna be is gonna be. Okay? If you think you're losing in your mind, you're gonna lose. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have the right mindset. Anyways, back to what I was saying. So yeah. So when it comes to plus minus ratio, Floyd's opposition stands up to the test. He got several Hall of Famers and future Hall of Famers that gonna pop up. Okay, he's just that dude. He's that dude. He was not now. When we talk about excitement, he wasn't the most exciting fucking fighter in the world. I agree with that. Okay, Ali blows him away by miles. By miles. Ali had a personality that was just greater than life. Okay, you thought Floyd used to shit talk. You all should see Ali. He was the original shit talker. Well, at least, there was Sam Langford. There was a bunch of other black fighters who used to shit talk. But my point is, like, Ali made it famous. Like, he glamorized that shit. Okay? Muhammad Ali was just out there. It was totally outspoken. Floyd basically borrowed a page out of Ali's book. Okay? But that doesn't mean, like this, like Get the Smoke is trying to make the point that, Floyd tried to market off these greats. Motherfucker, that is bullshit. All right? If you're aspiring to become great, obviously you're going to look at the past greats and you're going to try and blow away their milestones. Motherfucker, that's just common sense. You want to be great, so you want to be greater than them. I mean, come on, man. This motherfucker make it sound like, first of all, Floyd didn't even tabulate half the shit that he was doing, okay? Right? He used to just be outspoken, talk a lot of shit. That's what he do to get where he is and make the kind of money he made, okay? But don't get it twisted. The man is as genuine a draft as it is when it comes to his career. His career is crazy. It's a fucking crazy career. And all his decisions were calculated, no doubt about that. But he faced the very best. Maybe not in the time you wanted him to face the very best, but he faced the very best. All right. The shit that I didn't like is when he would announce, especially in these later years of his life, he announced he's retired and he come out of fucking retirement to face Conor McGregor. That bullshit really started to annoy me. And now it's getting to an all-time high where this motherfucker coming out of retirement again. I'm like, motherfucker, either you stay in boxing or you don't stay in boxing. But obviously you can't give up the game. You could be still hanging around, but you can't give up the game. You know what I mean? I'm smelling food. Anyways, back to what I was saying. So, when we talk about the best ever, yes, his competition stands up to the competition from all-time greats and shit, right? You take Pacquiao, you put him in any era, he ain't gonna handle himself. He's gonna do what he do because he's a true fighter, okay? You put Miguel Cotto in any era, he gonna handle himself, okay? He's a true fighter. So we're talking about all-time greats. Juan Manuel Marquez, he would handle himself, okay? It's just what it is, okay? Shane Mosley, he would handle himself. You know what I'm saying? And he'd do some even more remarkable things because he might have less of competition in certain points. You put Oscar De La Hoya in any era, he would handle himself. Okay, it's just what it is. Okay, Gennaro Hernandez, same thing. Okay, Diego Corrales, same fucking thing. In fact, Diego Corrales mowed on a couple people. Well, catch some bodies too in the process. Jose Luis Castillo, devastating lightweight. He'd have been a big lightweight to start with, and then he would have just mowed down a lot of lightweights. Okay, it's just what it is. Okay, so when you talk about these guys, they're all-time greats. Those names I just mentioned, all-time great names. Okay, we don't have to talk about Arturo Gatti. We know what would happen with Arturo Gatti. He bring you exciting fights every time. He wouldn't win all of them, but he bring exciting fights, right? So those are the market names. When you talk about Carlos Baldomir and what he did, how he beat Zab Judah, he didn't beat Vernon Forrest and them guys, but he beat Zab Judah. You know what I'm saying? You gotta make mention of him. Beat a young. You talk about guys like so those are the major landmarks. You're not really talking about the other guys like Jesus Chavez, and they're not major landmarks. But when you talk about those particular guys I just mentioned, they're major landmarks, and that's a good handful of names right there. You know what I'm saying? It's a good fucking handful of names, right? In 50 fights. with a plus minus ratio. When you look at what Floyd did to those guys, well, he didn't do it to Jose Luis Castillo the first time, but the second time around, he definitely ran the numbers on him, right? And similarly for Marcos Maidana, who would have been a problem in any era, but he's not going to be considered an all-time great. But he would have been a problem in any era. Just the fighting style of Marcos Maidana. He's going up to cruiserweight now. He's going to have another fight. He's going to have a fucking fight at cruiserweight. That should tell you how big fucking Marcos Maidana is. He was shrinking down just to make welterweight and super lightweight. This motherfucker was big. That's the motherfucker that Floyd faced. And Adrian Broner. And what's the guy's name? Whatever his name is. You know, legendary Marcos Maidana. Bad motherfucker. Excuse me. It's good to see him back in boxing. But my point is, you can't really argue with those facts. You just can't. When it comes to plus minus ratio, Floyd is the best. It's just what it is. And y'all guys just got to sit down and accept it as a fact. Then you have, you know, his dominance. Nobody can argue that Floyd was the most dominant motherfucking fighter in the history of boxing. Okay? He was dominant. He was beating guys that are all, you know, all-time greats, Hall of Famers. He make them look like they just a joke. Shane Mosley, the biggest thing. Shane Mosley, bad motherfucker. Hit hard and everything. Could box pretty, you know, pretty good and everything. Floyd made him, he beat his ass. He beat his ass up, okay? You know, Miguel Cotto was a good fight, though. That was a good fight. Even though Floyd won by a unanimous decision, that was a good fight. Miguel Cotto gave him a good fight. Jose Luis Castillo the first time gave him a good fight. Marcos Maidana gave him a good fight. But the next fight with Marcos Maidana wasn't big. I mean, he just dominated. It was one-sided. You know, the second Castillo fight was dominated, one-sided, you know. You look at Oscar De La Hoya with all the advantages, still only got a split decision loss. You know, he lost after all of that. It was really a unanimous decision, but we let it be. Let sleeping dogs lie. You know what I mean? It wasn't that competitive as they made it sound. Down the stretch especially. So Floyd, you know, every other fight of his career, he dominated. He dominated. And we could argue that he's the most dominant guy in the sports of boxing in terms of the level of opposition he faced. You know, all the other guys, even Sugar Ray Robinson, as dominant as he was, he got stopped. He got beaten. Right? So, you know, you can't be dominant and you getting your ass beat. You're not the most dominant fighter. But, you know, Sugar Ray Robinson would knock out a lot of guys too. But in fights he lost. Where, you know, he clearly lost. And that'll make you dominant. You know what I'm saying? You look at Rocky Marciano. You know, knocked out most of his opponents. Not all of them, but he knocked out most of his opponents, right? Like Deontay Wilder. But again, the problem with it is he had, I think it's 3 or 4 Hall of Famers and all-time greats on his resume. That's about it. Okay, and it was coming down to the end of his career. He did get the stoppages on all of them, but I mean it was 3 or 4. Now a hell of a 3 or 4. Ezra fucking Charles he got on there. He got fucking Jersey Joe Walcott on there. The hell of names right there. Old ass Joe Louis. We will not include that. But I mean, he got the legendary Archie Moore, but that was never Archie Moore's weight class. And Archie Moore was like 1,000 years old by that time. He did go back to lightweight and dominate lightweight, but I mean, yeah, he was 1,000 years old, and he really didn't belong at heavyweight. He didn't do nothing really great at heavyweight. Okay, Archie Moore didn't do nothing at heavyweight. He was being precocious. Ezra Charles overaccomplished. He was really the most dominant light heavyweight out there. But he went up to heavyweight and won world title against Jersey Joe Walker. Kudos to him. Did get his ass stopped by Jersey Joe Walker as well. But you know, it is what it is. Was one of the most dominant light heavyweights and most dominant middleweights, Ezra Charles. And he overachieved, to be honest with you. But nonetheless, Rocky Marciano got those wins over those guys, but he didn't have consistent wins against top-tier opposition from since he was, you know, knee-high in the pro game. You're talking about Floyd in 18 fights was world champion and proceeded to be world champion for a bunch of years. I think it was 18 or 17 years. That's some fucking crazy-ass shit right there, okay? Against notable opposition at that. You can't match that shit. You just can't match that shit. You know. And then when you think about the fact that the dominance of him, he dominated fights. He didn't knock guys out, but when it went to the scorecards, you knew that he won the fight. It was like clear as day. Like you didn't have to. Even a guy as a casual fan would know. Oh yeah, this motherfucker won that fight. You know what I mean? And that's how dominant he was throughout his career. Um, and that kind of thing is not something you see every day. Um, so like he dominated, except for 3 fights that I talked about: Cotto, Maidana, and Castillo. This motherfucker dominated every single other fight. Out of his 50 fights, 47 of them he dominated. Like you were clear. Oh yeah, Floyd won that. Blind man could see that shit. That's very impressive. And I think someone actually wrote an article on that shit and talked about it. The other thing that I wanted to talk about that I never really talked about before, it's not about winning or losing. Okay, that makes you the best ever. Not really. Especially if you lost to somebody that you beat afterwards. But here's the thing about Floyd Mayweather's career that a lot of people don't really factor in. This motherfucker was on the downslide and still is to this day on the downslide after the Gaddy fight, right? Injured one shoulder, then he injured the next shoulder, right? Had bad hands. And this motherfucker was able to still, in spite of all that shit, dominate the sport of boxing, dominate the opposition. That shit is still remarkable to me because I've seen Paulie Malignaggi do it, but not to that extent as Floyd did it. I know Pernell Whitaker also had bad hands, but it's just crazy that if this guy's hands was good, just imagine what he would have done. So I just wanted to point that out. That a punch that showed that his career showed how dominant he was. Now people talk about he picked and choose his opponents. Let's think about it. Let's think about it for a minute. I don't believe that, but nonetheless, let's say he did pick and choose his opponents. They wanted Zab Judah. They got him. Another person said how he never fought or he never tried to fight an undisputed fighter. Well, Zab Judah was undisputed. And when Floyd and Bobby Ahmed Top Rank made the fight with Zab Judah, he was undisputed at the time. They wanted to have that undisputed fight for Floyd. Never got it because Zab Judah dropped the ball and shit and lost to Carlos Baldomir, which leads me to Carlos Baldomir on an 18-fight winning streak. Faces Floyd Mayweather Jr. after stopping Arturo Gatti. I mean, come on now. Right? He gets beat by Floyd, and then he goes on to face Vernon Forrest right after that. Gets beat by Vernon Forrest. Gotta talk about this shit. But a lot of people don't talk about this shit. People want to talk about lineal champions. They want to make lists. And you can tell when somebody, they want to accumulate things which are factual, but they don't understand the meaning behind shit in boxing. Like, okay, dude faced a whole bunch of Hall of Famers. When did he face them? Were they at the top of their game? They may not have been in their prime, but were they at the top of their game? And that's the point that you have to understand. Are the guys healthy? Were they at the top of their game? Was the fight, were they robbed in certain fights? Those are the things you gotta talk about. But I just wanted to talk about how dominant he was as a fighter. I think a lot of people forget that, and I think people also forget because people didn't like him. I guess a lot of people didn't like him. I was listening to Get the Smoke talk about how many of the former opponents, talked about Floyd as if he was the best ever because Sugar Ray Robinson, some of his opposition, some people in the media, they said how he was the best of all time. Oh, the following people say that Floyd is the best ever: DeMarcus Coughlin, Oscar De La Hoya, Zab Judah, Sean B. Mitchell, Angel Manfredi. All right. These are some of the guys that acknowledge and believe that he's the best. They say he's the best the day fought, and they don't have a problem with him saying he's the best ever. Other guys who never faced Floyd, but acknowledge him as the best ever, Vinny Pazienza, the legendary Vinny Pazienza. George Foreman. Okay. And then you got the young guys. The young guys like Sean Porter and, a number of other younger guys think that Floyd is the best ever. Now, a lot of people think that it's a moniker that when he said he's the best ever. He branded it, but he believed that. That's something he believes. Okay, he believed he was the best ever. And he used to say it all the time. But he didn't get that name, the best ever. He wasn't the person that called himself that. Even though he had an ego and everything. The people who actually told him that, and then we heard it vocalized by Emmanuel Stewart, were people from, when he grew up in the Olympic team and so on. They were looking at him as a special one. Bob Arum talked about him being better than Muhammad Ali and Sugar Ray Leonard and so on. They talked about him being better. HBO used to hype him up a lot until he moved from Top Rank. The moment Floyd moved from Top Rank, that's when all this shit started coming down on him. And Bob Arum has been a thorn in Floyd's side since then. Buxton Monster says Muhammad Ali was undisputed 3 times. How many times did orthopedic matrix glove Floyd become undisputed? Again, what the fuck does undisputed mean? It just means you're the man of the division. Okay? At the time, one guy was a champion. One guy generally held the 2 belts, even though Muhammad Ali had a version of the belt, WBA, and the WBC and WBE used to be together. So you just had to beat one guy to become undisputed. Nowadays, you got to beat 4 guys to become undisputed. In Floyd's time, he had to beat 3 guys. Floyd beat the former undisputed champion, and then he beat Carlos Baldomir. But by that time, politics caused the belts to be separated. Zab Judah was undisputed when Floyd signed up to face Zab Judah. But in the end, Floyd could not beat Zab Judah before Carlos Baldomir did. Carlos Baldomir beat Zab Judah. And then Carlos Baldomir just didn't take the sanctioning fees. He was the lineal champion. He would have been undisputed if he had paid the sanctioning fees. And Floyd beat Carlos Baldomir. So when you think about it, what the fuck does undisputed mean? Why does it matter? If you're just talking about accomplishments, if the guy who beat the guy that was undisputed, you beat that dude, what does it matter? But see, everybody all about titles and trinkets and shit like that. And they're like, y'all not using your brain. You're just talking. Well, Ali was undisputed 5 times. Well, yeah, because the guy held the 2 belts, the WBC and WBA. Okay, he beat Joe Frazier, then he beat George Foreman, and then he beat, who did he beat? I think it was George Foreman, right? And then he beat Sonny Liston. That's why he was 3-time world champion at heavyweight. It's a guy he beat to become undisputed. It wasn't guys he beat to become undisputed. Unlike Zab Judah beat a guy, Corey Spinks. Corey Spinks is the guy that collected all the belts. Okay? And in my opinion, you got to give Corey Spinks props because he beat Ricardo Mayorga, who had the other 2 belts, right? Ricardo Mayorga beat Vernon Forrest, and then he beat Six Heads Lewis from Guyana to get, I think, was the WBC and the IBF world titles. And then Corey Spinks, he beat 2 guys, and then he beat him, and he beat another guy to get the WBC title. I can't remember if it was Picarillo or whoever, right? It was Picarillo. But the point is, or whoever it was, right? He got the other 2 guys, and then he beat Ricardo Mayorga to become undisputed. All right, it was very impressive, very fucking impressive, because when you have to beat more than one guy to become undisputed, that's harder work than beating one guy and just becoming undisputed. But y'all so caught up in titles, y'all aren't really thinking, y'all not really processing that. If you had said to me, damn, Floyd had the WBC and WBA titles, which is what back in the day was undisputed. Nowadays, undisputed is 4 titles. You got to get the WC, WBA, and WBO, and IBF, okay? That's what you gotta get. 4 fucking titles just to become undisputed. It's a lot harder now. Okay. And on top of that, Floyd had to get 3 though. Back then, it was just the WBC, WBA, and IBF. But if we're gonna do the Muhammad Ali shit, Floyd was undisputed a number of times. If that's the case, all right, he was recently undisputed in 2015 when he had the WBC and WBA. All right, which counted. He had the WBC and WBA he got from Marcus Maidana. WBC got from Victor Ortiz. He was also undisputed at super welterweight, if that's the case, because Canelo had the WBC and Austin tried the WBA, and Canelo was undisputed as well because he had the WBC and WBA. All right, so if you're gonna go that route, then be consistent and keep the same energy, okay? Because undisputed means the man. And in this case, if you're gonna go with it, Muhammad Ali was undisputed because he had the WBC and WBA belts. Then you better be fucking. Floyd was undisputed too. If that's the way you're gonna go. If you're gonna go the route of, undisputed as is currently understood, or as it was in Floyd's time, which is 3 fucking belts you had to have. Okay, generally from 3 other fighters. Okay, unless the guy accumulated all of it and you got to beat that dude. And today, with so much politics, it's hard to keep the 3 belts. It's hard to keep the 3 belts. Far less win them. Because by the time you win 2, they strip you. Look what they did to Canelo. They fucking stripped Canelo of the IBF. Next thing I know, he vacated the WBC to be franchise champion. It's bullshit. There's a lot of fucking politics going on so that, guys could duck guys and all kinds of shit could happen, right? You look at Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury got stripped of the IBF right after he won all 3 titles, so he couldn't become undisputed. So there's a lot of bullshit that goes down now to become undisputed. That's the first thing. The second thing is, so what if you become undisputed? It's who you face. Take, for instance, Terrence Crawford is undisputed. But who the fuck did he beat to become undisputed? Honestly. Right? Who did he beat? He fought for a fucking vacant title the first time against Thomas Dulorme. It was a WBO. He didn't beat Victor Postol, who was that was a good win. That's where his undisputed kind of hangs on. Victor Postol, the WBC champion. He ain't the best guy in the world, but I mean, he was a good fighter. He beat him to get the WBC. And then he fought that African dude. I forgot what his name is, right? And he got the IBF and the WBA, okay? And the African dude was a floor fucking fighter. All right? So, at the end of the day, that's how he became undisputed. But if you ask me, who are the names? Did he face a Josh Taylor? Did he face a Reggie Sprogray? Did he face a Adrian Broner? Did he face no, he didn't face none of them guys. He didn't. He didn't. Did he face a Mikey Garcia? No. Did he face a let's see, what's another good fighter? A Jesse Vargas. No. A Danny Garcia. No. A Lamont Peterson. No. So he became undisputed. Whoop-woo! Big thing. That's a hard thing to do. So you did it. Great. But who did you face to become undisputed? Why do I need to put so much weight on this fucking undisputed? That's my point. Usyk. The greatest guy that he beat was Mars Bredis. That was a good win for him. Mars Bredis. That's what makes his undisputed worth something. It's a great achievement to get all 4 belts. But when you look at Tyson Fury's not undisputed, but he beat Vladimir Klitschko. Now you tell me, Usyk's win and the Klitschko win with Tyson Fury, which one's better? Just asking. Just asking. Josh Taylor versus Regis Prograis. Taylor beat Prograis. Terrence Crawford beat Victor Postol. Which is a better win? We saw Josh Taylor beat Victor Postol like it was a joke. Regis Prograis beat the African dude that Terrence did in shorter time. So who's the better fighter? What's the better win? Josh Taylor. Undisputed is great. But like I said before, and I'll say it again, it's cool, but it's better if you face somebody who's actually up there, that the public really esteems very highly. So where Mayweather was on the verge of becoming undisputed after beating Manny fucking Pacquiao. He got his 3 belts from Victor Ortiz, which y'all discredit. You're like, hey, he's just a joker. How can you say that? So you say that for Floyd, but Victor Postol and that African dude that Terrence Crawford had to become undisputed is great. Terrence Crawford did have great opponents. But when Floyd faced Victor Ortiz, who outweighed him by 15 pounds, right? Who just beat Andre Berto to get the WBC title, put a spoke in the week because Floyd was supposed to face Berto. That's not a great win for Floyd. Oh, Victor Ortiz, he's nobody. Look how he got beat by this guy and this guy. Well, Victor Postol just got his ass handed to him as well. So what are you saying? What are you really saying? I'm just asking. Because y'all fans don't keep the same fucking energy. That's all I'm saying. Keep the same energy with what you're talking about. So you want to talk about undisputed and undisputed and undisputed, but you're not processing what undisputed means, motherfucker. You're not processing what lineal champion means, motherfucker. It's supposed to bring about one guy at the division. But what sense is it if my division is weak and I'm the guy of a weak division? When I step up into a stronger division, can I handle that division? Maybe my best division is the division I was in. Or maybe just my level of opposition just wasn't the level of opposition. We seen it with Gennady Golovkin. B-level, C-level fighters, dust their motherfucking ass. He looked great. As soon as he stepped up in competition, started facing A-level fighters, didn't look that great. Why? Because your skill set has to be honed. When you're not facing top tier opposition, we can't see if your skills really hold up to the opposition. Whatever those skills may be. Does it hold up? Or does it not? And one of the most important things to have as a skill is defense. I've been saying the same thing since 2014, haven't I? I've never changed my tune. Here you go hating on Crawford. Shut the fuck up. Don't stop with this hating shit. I'm being honest, okay? If you have no counter argument, shut the fuck up because you don't have a counter argument. That's your problem. You have nothing to say. So, oh, you hating on Terrence Crawford. Say something. Counter my argument. Otherwise, shut the fuck up. Don't talk about hating because I'm not hating on Terrence Crawford. I'm making a point. Okay? There you go, hating on Terrence Crawford. You illiterate motherfuckers. You illiterate motherfuckers. I open your eyes every single time. I open your fucking eyes every single time. Because y'all just go down the road with mantra. Y'all have lists. Y'all talk about how many Hall of Famers. Y'all have all kinds of fucking lists. But when you talk about processing information, y'all can't process shit. Same thing with Boxing Librarian. He can't process shit. He got lists and all kinds of shit. If I ask him what the fuck is going on in the ring with this guy and this guy, he can't tell me. That's my problem with you guys. And then you always go back to power and the jab and reach. Y'all say the same shit over and over again. And it disgusts me. Here I am trying to educate some people on things I learned myself. I don't claim to be the greatest person in boxing. I'm talking shit. I'm really talking shit. All right? I'm really talking shit. This is all you got for me. This is all you got for me because you don't have a counter argument. What I said was airtight correct. Terrence Crawford's become undisputed champion against who, motherfucker? Against who? I ask you. We know he has the skills to pay the bills. But who the fuck did he face at super lightweight? I ask you. Answer my question. But I'm hating on Terrence Crawford. That's what you dumbass fucking fans always say over and over again. Oh, he hating on Terrence Crawford because you have nothing to counter it. Nothing. Zip. Zilch. Nada. You're just a fan. But you know what I'm saying is true. You want to fucking hate on Floyd, talking about, oh, he was never undisputed champion. Now I educate your dumb ass on something, and now you have to turn around and say, I'm a hater of Terrence Crawford. And you're not a hater of Floyd? Then you actually are projecting yourself onto me. Because you don't have a fucking argument for Floyd. None of y'all do. You got to give him it. You got to give him the best ever. Never said you can give him the greatest, because that makes no damn sense, in my opinion. He's not the greatest. He's not. Pacquiao's greater than him. And some of y'all get twisted and bent in the nut. Get This Smoke says Floyd's not the best of all time. He's not the best ever. But yet he turns around and says he's a better fighter than Pacquiao. He shows his fucking a greater fighter, not better. He's a better fighter than Pacquiao. Greater fighter than Pacquiao. I look at him, I'm laughing because I'm like, dude, there's no way. No way. You lost that battle. But I say things that maybe rub people the wrong way and it's just unpopular with a lot of people. But I definitely talk boxing. When I talk fucking boxing. Whether you agree with my opinion or you don't agree with my opinion, whether you feel I'm a hater or not, I'm literally talking boxing. You don't have to agree with my opinion, but when I give it with reasons. And when you listen to the reasons, they're very solid. Okay? I'm not here to hate on Terrence Crawford. He's a fucking great boxer. He's great. I love him. I love what he does. I love what he does in the ring. But I know how to beat him. I know how to beat his ass. Because he does certain rhythmic patterns. That don't mean that Canelo could beat him. That don't mean that. I think I know at least a couple of flaws, and I know a couple of wrinkles and flaws in Canelo's game as well. I see them. Doesn't mean that a fighter can just easily exploit them. Just like with Terrence Crawford, it's not easy to exploit, but it's there. We'll see if they clean it up over time, both of them. And like Get the Smoke said, Terrence Crawford has certain tendencies which will get him in trouble. Canelo dialed back on his tendencies, but Terrence, he still engages his tendencies. And sometimes you gotta be smart. But I see Terrence. He's a very smart, very skilled fighter. A bit overrated right now because they still got him high up on the pound for pound list where he should have dropped down already. Because pound for pound lists come out every year. They come out every year. If you're talking about over time, that's a different story. But every year there's a pound for pound list comes. So it's what you did for me lately that determines how high up or how low down you go on the pound for pound list. I think the Rings got it right. I think BoxRec got it right as well to some degree. But you can't put Bud as number one on the pound for pound list, and he fighting Amir Khan, and he fought who's the other guy? Amir Khan, and he's gonna fight Gavaliaskas next. You can't put him as number one on pound for pound list. You just can't do that. He's supposed to get rid of Gavaliaskas within 3. If he don't do that, I mean, I'll be surprised. He's gonna get him out of there within 3, maybe 4. He gonna get him out of there though. For sure. He gonna dust his ass off. Gavaliaskas gonna get erased. He gonna knock his ass out. For sure. He don't belong in the ring with Terrence. He just don't. I'll be surprised if that fight goes the distance or 8 or 9 rounds. I'll be very shocked. But like I'm saying, it's just what it is. Undisputed. You trying to make a case to put down Mayweather's accomplishments, but you really ain't got no case. Because you guys think monotrack. You don't really think about why something is what it is. And you need to think about that. So you guys make lists. You guys listen to the wrong set of people. You listen to the guys who make lists and shit. I'm saying lists are great. Lists are great. Don't get me wrong. You gotta have lists in some respects, but you guys just make lists for list's sake. I know where you guys got that from. I laugh at that. You got it from the guy that his favorite fighter he never seen box. Y'all been listening to the Kool-Aid. I just laugh. You gotta know what fucking boxing is before you start to open your fucking mouth and talk about it. Right? You gotta know, like they say, you gotta know the difference between a fish hook and a fucking hook in boxing. And some of y'all just don't know the shit. Y'all don't know the shit. Y'all be listening to the wrong people. They good for like facts and stuff you want to know, little tidbits and shit, but they don't know fucking shit about boxing. Ask them if they ever box a day in their fucking life. Ask them that question. I told you I could start going in on people, but I choose not to go in on people. I choose not to go in on people. I try to be a nice guy. Trust me. I can tear those motherfuckers' ass up, all of them. Right? But I just don't do it. I'm here to try and educate 85 people on the sport of boxing. So, back to what I was saying. Peter Pearson, shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you, brother. So, I'm not here to be kissing Floyd's ass because I don't really give a fuck about it like that. I'm just talking about him from the perspective of facts and information out there. All right, it's just what it is. I don't really care about the man's personal life. I don't really care how much money he makes. Good for him. I ain't making no money off him. I was just here to show people because a lot of people was giving this dude flack, and I was like, what the fuck is wrong with people? They did the same thing for Andre Ward, and then they talk about their fights are boring because the fucking HBO, fucking Jim Lampley, and fucking ass Larry Merchant did the same thing to Roy Jones Jr. All right? They blacklisted these dudes and make you think, even Pernell Whitaker. Now everybody praising Pernell Whitaker's ass after his career is gone, long since gone. But they used to call Pernell Whitaker boring as well. How the fuck is Pernell Whitaker boring? Right? Fucking Jim Lampley and fucking ass Larry Merchant. Okay? So Floyd got blacklisted. Andre Ward got blacklisted. They call them boring. They call they ain't saying it yet about Shakur Stevenson, but they're gonna start going in on his ass if Shakur starts going in a different direction. All right? Floyd was brilliant to watch. Fucking Andre Ward was wonderful to watch. Don't listen to what the fucking haters say. Okay? Watch what your eyes tell you. You gotta watch what your eyes. Pernell Whitaker was a genius. He was a showman. But they prayed for his fucking downfall. They robbed his ass just so he wouldn't get the credit that he deserved. Okay? There's a little fighter named El Nato. They robbed him so that Roberto Duran would get the win over him. They stopped the fight and said Roberto Duran stopped his ass. El Nato was a brilliant super featherweight. They've been doing it to people for the longest while, man. They don't like your ass. Tyson Fury. Motherfucker won all the belts from Klitschko. IBF just come in just like that and just take his belt from him. Pluck off the IBF belt. The motherfucker didn't even get a chance to defend. They just pluck the IBF belt off him. Why? Because they don't like Tyson Fury like that. He's not liked like that. He's not loved. He's not in the circle of love people like that. It's not just a black thing. You hear people talking about Billy Joe Saunders. Why they don't like Billy Joe Saunders? Why? Why? He's white. He talk trash, and then he go in the ring and he go clinic on you. He goes clinic on you. But we all know fucking Billy Joe. Billy Joe ain't no fucking joke. He's not no fucking joke. All shit aside, that boy can fight. That boy can fight. He's a real deal. He's better than fucking David Benavidez. If Billy Joe faced David Benavidez, Billy Joe gonna tax that ass up. He gonna beat that ass. He's the real deal. Everybody on the Demetrius Andre train. But I remember the days when they talked about Demetrius Andre was boring. First, he was an exciting fighter on HBO. Then later on, he was called the boring fighter. Every HBO contract was up. I remember that shit. Now they calling him, he's an acquired taste on midweight. Motherfucker be knocking down people. he has a high activity rate. He don't always stop everybody, but he knocks them down. But he's an acquired taste like jazz. Fuck out of here. Politics. And y'all got to see through the bullshit. Y'all don't have to stop mounting this bullshit that these people be making you parrot. See through the bullshit. I'm a real one. Like I said before, I am not into bullshit. I'm not into bullshit ass narratives. When I said Canelo should have faced Demetrius Andre, I know what I was saying. Y'all was talking about everybody else but Demetrius Andre. And I was like, all right, cool. Whatever. Y'all was talking about Jamal Charlo. I didn't get it. I didn't understand it, but I understand. He came up with Jamal Charlo. Should have faced him. I can't knock it. He was his mandatory. All right? I can't knock it. I'd have preferred him to beat Demetrius Andre because he had the WBC belt before he faced Jamal Charlo and it wasn't vacant. So he could have done a voluntary first. The motherfucker didn't face Demetrius Andre. Y'all came down on me. Oh, you being a fanboy, blah, blah, blah. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? This man just lost his IBF belt. This man just got stripped of the WBC, which Get the Smoke was right about. He vacated. Okay? And this motherfucker wouldn't face Demetrius Andre. But y'all let it, I said it was a shit fight with Kovalev. Y'all let it slide. Oh, it was a great fight with Kovalev, blah, blah. I was like, okay, whatever. See, I try to see the things as it is. Now y'all want to say Kovalev's a cherry pick. This is after Kovalev actually made a good account of himself. Actually boxed better than he ever boxed in his fucking life. Now y'all turning around and saying, this was a shitty fight. This was a cherry pick. Kovalev was old. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, the fuck you talking about? The fight was a draw going into the 11th. Some of y'all dumbasses had Kovalev ahead. How could it be that he was a faded fighter? Why did he use his right hand? It was effective going into the 11th. Y'all said it was a close fight. I don't understand y'all fans. I really don't. Me personally, I don't understand y'all. Because y'all never make fucking sense. Y'all like Floyd Mayweather. Y'all contradict yourselves all the time. You contradict yourself all the time. And it's annoying as fuck because I'm like, dude, I'm trying to be real. I'm actually trying to be honest here. I'm trying to call things like boxing. And y'all come up with some shit. I just don't know where y'all come up with it from. It's funny as fuck. No doubt about it. I'll laugh about it. But it's weird. You contradict yourself so much. And I've been consistent since God knows I've been consistent. And if I've been wrong about something, I'd say I was wrong about this. And I'm going to let y'all know. I'm a straight up dude. I'm not like one of those fucking ass political motherfuckers with political mandates. I don't have time for that shit. I hear you talk boxing and boxing alone. Get this smoke, bro. This was a response to you about Floyd being TBE and stuff. And you can go ahead and watch the video afterwards. Roy Ramirez says Floyd is one of the most intelligent boxers to see. Not only is he intelligent, I love the style he has and the flair. Some of the moves he put up in boxing, you saw Canelo copy some of his moves, right? I'm not saying other boxers in the history of boxing didn't use those moves too, but I'm just saying, he looked sweet as sugar. He looked pretty. That's why I guess he was called Pretty Boy Floyd. But nonetheless, he looked pretty when he make those moves. It's shit that you just like, and they wanted to call Vasily Lomachenko the Matrix While Floyd was doing the Matrix a long time ago, Pernell Whitaker was doing the Matrix. Fucking Willie Pepper was doing the Matrix. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? The Ghetto Wizard was doing the Matrix. Y'all wasn't talking about that shit then. But all of a sudden, Lomachenko was the Matrix. Yeah, get the smoke. Got you. I'm just saying. You know, they shit on Pernell Whitaker. Let's be real. They shit on him in most of his career. They shit on Roy Jones Jr. It's only when Roy Jones Jr. was coming to the end of his career, he started getting the credit he deserved after he lost. Now they want to give him the credit he deserved because he's off the pedestal. He's off that perfection. He's off the mountain. Now they're ready to give him the, oh, you're like one of us. You're fallible. I know what the bullshit is. I know what King of the Mountain is. All this bullshit they saying about Floyd, how he cherry picked his opponents, is because he didn't lose. And he make a ton of money. That's why. And keep his ass in boxing long enough, he gonna lose. Somebody gonna beat his ass. Bad. But that's another story for another day. I don't even care about that right now. You know what I'm saying? Get the Smoke says Floyd's an all-time great. Duh. So is Pacquiao. So is Cotto. So is Marquez. So is Mosley. So is Oscar. They're all-time greats. We know that. Like that. So fucking who's the other guy? Yeah, of course he's an all-time great. That goes without saying. But my point is not that. My point is not that he's an all-time great. He's that he's the best ever. He made that claim. I could see exactly how that is so. And people in the business, certain people in the business believe that. They don't got no agenda. They don't got no hate. You know? Floyd's best work was at 130. Fuck no. No, get the smoke. Think about what you're saying. He had opposition like Pacquiao, Cotto, Canelo, Mosley, Oscar. His best work was at welterweight, super welterweight. Think about it. Pause, take a breath, think about it. Maybe his most entertaining work was at 130. But his best work was not at fucking 130. The way he handled Canelo, I remember after Sugar Ray Leonard saw that, he said, this man is the best. He's the best I ever seen. How he handled Canelo, how he handled that shit was like, that man contained that shit. He contained that shit. He taught Canelo a boxing lesson. He put him in school. And Canelo was good. But he wasn't that good. All right? After Sugar Ray Leonard saw that shit, he said, man, this dude's the best I've ever seen. That was 130 was not his best work. It depends. You're talking about entertaining. What he did against the opposition, sure. It depends on what you mean. But in my opinion, his best work was at welterweight, super welterweight. That's where he showed that he was the best. Because it was only the best. And he was facing them back to fucking back. He wasn't taking no stay busy fights. He wasn't trying to stay busy and all that shit. He was about quality. In fact, inferior opposition was Victor Ortiz and Robert Guerrero. Shit that on anybody else's, and Andre Berto, shit that on anybody else's resume would have been great competition. On anybody else's resume. On Floyd Mayweather's resume, that's how fucking high the standard was. Victor Ortiz, Robert Guerrero, and Andre Berto are inferior opposition. That's the shit we talking about. That's the shit we talking about. If y'all being honest. But you motherfuckers out there not being honest. And we talking about from since fucking Zab Judah to the end of his fucking career. Well, we don't include Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor not even a boxer. We don't talk about that shit. That shit. Just get Conor McGregor out the way. We're not talking about him. We talking about from fucking Zab Judah to fucking Andre Berto. Come on now. We're not even including Arturo Gatti in them. Forget all his career before welterweight. He steps up into welterweight. He faced Sean Bay Mitchell, former world champion. Yeah, whatever. Whatever. He wasn't Zab Judah. It started Zab Judah. Go all the way down to Andre Berto. Fuck Conor McGregor. Leave that out. We all know Conor McGregor was like, right? Forget him. We're talking only about as boxing fans, real guys who know boxing. That little resume right there. That shit was crazy. His comeback fight into boxing after coming out of prison was Robert Guerrero. Think about what I'm saying. Victor Ortiz beat Andre Berto. Gave him his first loss. Came up against Floyd, bigger dude and everything, aggressive and shit. Floyd tamed his ass in that ring. Tamed his ass in that ring. Victor Ortiz wanted a scrap. And Floyd tamed that ass. Bigger, stronger dude. He tamed it with boxing. And y'all said Victor Ortiz ain't nothing. And then after that, he got his jaw broke by Josecito Lopez. So now, on top of that, Josecito broke his jaw. And since then, he's never been the same, right? And y'all said Victor Ortiz was a waste of time. Think about what I'm saying. If y'all really processing what I'm saying, if y'all being honest with yourself, if you're going to just go all over the place, fine. Hey, what's that? What's up? Somebody's answer me here. Floyd has beaten more Hall of Famers than Ray Leonard. I don't know about that. I can't. Well, potential Hall of Famers. Potential Hall of Famers. Raul Ramirez. Potential Hall of Famers. Definitely. We know they're first ballot Hall of Famers. You talk about Cotto. He going in the Hall of Fame. Marquez, he going in the Hall of Fame, right? Pacquiao going in the Hall of Fame, right? We all know this. There's no question. Mosley, isn't Mosley in the Hall of Fame yet? No, his career just over recently, right? He going in the Hall of Fame, right? Oscar already there. Who else we got? Who else we got? We got a couple of them. We got some other fringe guys, right? Canelo going in the Boxing Hall of Fame. We know that already, right? Well, at least he's on course to it. If he's not a Hall of Famers yet, he'll be one soon, right? Zab Judah going in the Boxing Hall of Fame. We know that already. And it's not because he's undisputed. It's a little bit more than that. Zab faced everybody. That's another thing you got to face. And he beat some of them along the way. It's been 2 months since you think Shields would beat Crawford. I never said that Shields would beat Crawford. Why do you keep on misrepresenting what I say? Still pushing for the 3-rounder. Get the smoke. Leonard faced better opposition, quality over quantity. Leonard faced some Manny Pacquiao. Did he face some Manny Pacquiao? Let me get the smoke. Did he face some Manny Pacquiao? He faced a Thomas Hearns, but did he face some Manny Pacquiao? And Thomas Hearns was damn good. But did he face some Manny Pacquiao? He had the opportunity to face an Aaron Pryor. He didn't face Aaron Pryor. That would have been a Manny Pacquiao for him. Didn't face him. Right? He faced a Thomas Hearns. I'll give him that. He faced a Marvin Hagler. Floyd faced a Canelo Alvarez. That's his match for Marvin Hagler. A young Canelo, but nonetheless a Canelo. All right. And Leonard was fucking faster than Hagler. It was easy work for him. Well, not easy work, but I mean, he was like the Flash, and Hagler was like a sloth. It was easy work. Yeah, but like I said before, when you say better opposition, what do you really mean? Leonard went life and debt with Donnie Lalonde. Right? He went life and debt with Hearns, right? He went life and debt with Roberto Duran, right? I'm just saying, Floyd didn't have those moments. He had it with Cotto, but other than that, he didn't have those moments with none of them other guys, right? They were bigger, stronger than him, some of them, still outboxed their ass. Made it look easy. Get the smoke. Floyd didn't tame it. Ortiz didn't protect himself at all times. He tamed that ass. He taxed that fucking ass, and he tamed that ass. And Ortiz, by the way, was headbutting him all through the fight. Then he made it obvious because he couldn't get him. He taxed that fucking ass. So many right hands they land on Ortiz and left hooks. He taxed that ass. Ortiz was getting his ass beat. And Ortiz couldn't fight the fight that he wanted to fight. So he started fighting super dirty. And Floyd knocked his ass out. Roll Ramirez. But some of Ray's opponents were better, though. That's correct. I do agree. Some of them were better than some of Floyd's opponents, obviously. But you talk about Juan Manuel Marquez. You got, I mean, come on now. Man came up from featherweight. We don't even want to talk about Pacquiao. Pacquiao in a whole other class by himself. Okay. Pacquiao in the level of a Sugar Ray Leonard. Okay. And Ray Leonard even said he saw himself in Pacquiao. And Muhammad Ali said he saw himself in Pacquiao. So when you talk about Pacquiao, he in a whole other class. That alone is just crazy. Just talking about Pacquiao is crazy. Like, who does Leonard have that's a Manny Pacquiao? Even Aaron Pryor, style-wise, Aaron Pryor was like Manny Pacquiao, but when you talk about resume and the history and where this motherfucker came from and all that shit, he don't have that guy. Pacquiao's 40 years of age and beating young guys. Ray wasn't doing that shit. Floyd didn't do that shit. All right? Not on that level that Pacquiao just did. Pacquiao on a whole other fucking level, man. On a whole other fucking level. He beat guys that Pacquiao just showed you how bad he is. He just beat Keith Thurman. This is a guy that Floyd handled easy. The only guy that handled Pacquiao that easy. Even Eric Morales didn't handle Pacquiao that easy as Floyd did. Floyd handled him easy. Easy. Okay? And Pacquiao beat the brakes off of Adrian Broner. Knocked out Lucas Matisse. If he's so easy to beat, these guys should be beating his ass, right? Timothy Bradley dropped twice. Jesse Barks, he dropped once. Chris Algieri, they let him out the cage and he got his ass dropped. he been beating them young asses. Thomas Hearns ain't do this shit. Thomas Hearns never beat nobody at the age of fucking 40 like that. Come on now. I told you, Floyd beat Manny Pacquiao. Marquez knocked his ass out, but it wasn't a life and death battle between Marquez and Pacquiao. Ain't nobody handled Pacquiao so easy as Floyd did. He handled him easy. Easy. That's just how great Floyd is. He don't go in no drag out fucking battle. He don't go in no drag out fucking battle. He only had drag out battles with Marcus Maidana, Jose Luis Castillo, the first fights, and fucking Miguel Cotto. Cotto's the real deal. And you know what's the thing? All those guys were bigger than Floyd. They outweighed him by, I think Jose Luis Castillo outweighed him by 10 pounds. Marcus Maidana outweighed him by 19 fucking pounds. And fucking Miguel Cotto probably out. We don't know what Miguel Cotto came in on the weight because he don't ever give his weight on fight night. But Cotto come in 160, 165, something like that. Floyd probably came in 150, outweighed him by about 15 pounds. Oscar De La Hoya probably outweighed him by the same thing or more. This dude continuously fighting bigger guys than him and beating their ass. Y'all gotta be tripping. He do what Pernell Whitaker did. Pernell Whitaker did the same shit, but he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it to the level that Floyd did it. And Whitaker started at a higher weight class. He started at lightweight. I mean, come on now. Y'all serious? Yes, he did easily beat Duran the last 2 times. The thing I have against Sugar Ray Leonard, just as I have against Lennox Lewis. It wasn't supposed to lose that fight. It wasn't supposed to be that close. He wasn't supposed to lose against Duran the first time. You know, that's the thing that gets me. And the same thing with fucking Lennox Lewis. He wasn't supposed to lose to them 2 guys, the Rockman and the other guy, Tyson's sparring partner, right? He wasn't supposed to lose to them 2 guys. You got to come back and beat them guys comprehensively just to... That was never supposed to happen. He was supposed to beat Duran, man. Eric Morales didn't beat Pacquiao like Floyd beat him. Floyd outclassed his ass, like outclassed him, made Pacquiao look stupid. Eric Morales put a beating on him, but Pacquiao got some shots in on Eric Morales. It was like a war, you know. But Floyd just made Pacquiao look like he beat Pacquiao the easiest. Just so much, just so different in levels. Raul Romero said Leonard wasn't supposed to lose to Duran. He was a much more better skilled. Exactly. You got so much tools in your toolbox. Why do you even use your tools, man? Come on, man. You know, it was like Duran was like, I mean, Duran does remind me a bit, or should I say Marcus McDonald does remind me a bit of Duran, except Marcus McDonald is even more unorthodox than Duran is. But I mean, come on, man. Duran be doing boxing shit, and he showed it. He outboxed Duran easy. Second fight. Get this smoke. Marquez dropped him multiple times and put him to sleep. Yeah, for sure. But it was still a drawn out battle, though. It was a war between Pacquiao and Marquez. They was fighting a war. He broke Marquez's nose, bust his nose right open down the center. Blood was gushing out of Marquez's nose. He was just, it was a couple punches away from really hurting Marquez and putting him down again. Right? And Marquez caught him with full leverage as Pacquiao tripped over his foot. Take the brunt of the shot. Afro-American stunts. What kind of stunt is Mayweather pulling now? I don't know, man. The motherfucker is just crazy. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with him. All I know is Deontay Wilder has a fight this evening, and Mayweather comes with this stupid ass announcement. They're like, man, Mayweather, just shut the fuck up and just go and retire. You know? I get it. I'm as annoyed as everybody else about Mayweather coming back and all this shit. Dude, your era's over. Get used to it. Be a promoter or something. We don't need to see you in boxing like that anymore. Get the smoke. Whitaker got robbed, then started sniffing. See, now you starting some shit. All I know is Whitaker's a damn good fighter. That's what I know. He sniffed that cocaine though. You're right about that. Yeah, he handled Marquez easy too. Exactly. Who has Floyd not handled easy? Or made it look easy at least? He's handled everybody. 47 of those 50 fights. He's handled those guys easy. The only guys I saw that he had a tough time with, you know, I thought the Cotto fight was closer, was Miguel fucking Cotto. Okay. Oscar De La Hoya I thought was a landslide, unanimous decision down the stretch especially. But Jose Luis Castillo, the first fight was competitive. No doubt about that. That was a tough fight for Floyd. And then the Miguel Cotto fight and the Marcus McDonald first fight, those were close fights. No doubt about it. It wasn't one in which he just straight up dominated. Nope. He had to fight for it. He had to fight for it in those fights. You know, the other fights were more definitive. He didn't coast with the Emmanuel Augustus fight either, or the Jesus Chavez fight, but he still dominated for the most part. He was landing all the shots that he wanted to. The other guys were landing back shots too, but he still dominated. But what I'm talking about is when you talk about a man's whole entire fucking career, 50 fights, right? And you dominate 47 of them, okay, you can leave out the Conor McGregor fight, okay? We know, yeah, okay. But you dominated 47 of them anyway, right? That's remarkable. You didn't even lose a fight. You didn't even draw a fucking fight, okay? That's remarkable. It's crazy, okay? Now, will it be surpassed? Well, we already saw it surpassed by Wenyan Benioff, a.k.a. Munsri, right? He already surpassed that. He was 52-0 now. But he hasn't fought that quality of opposition that Mayweather has fought. Okay, and then when we talk about Deontay Wilder, he's looking to aspiring to pass that too. I don't know if that's why Floyd made the announcement, but Wilder wants to aspire to pass Floyd Mayweather's 50-0. He wants 51-0. Shit, am I mad at Wilder? Fuck no. Supposed to want that. Is Wilder a clout chasing off of Floyd? Fuck no. You're supposed to want to do that. You're supposed to want to make history. You're supposed to want to surpass everything. Canelo, he want to be 4-division world champion, probably even 5-division world champion if he can push it. Is he clout chasing because he wants to become that and no other Mexican fighter has done that? No. That's why I don't understand what this brother be doing. You're supposed to want to go after those goals. You were supposed to want to surpass what the other guys before you have done. You're supposed to want to do that as a fighter. You're supposed to want to be the best. There's nothing wrong with that. So I don't understand why people, they're doing as if Floyd, he a crook, he trying to trick people. It's a marketing strategy and shit. No, it's not a marketing strategy. No, he didn't cherry pick his opponents like, well, okay, he cherry picked Conor McGregor and Andre Berto. And you can't fault him for Andre Berto. After Andre Berto, I wanted him to face fucking Kell Brook. Okay, that's who I wanted him to face, the IBF champion, or Keith Thurman. I said, well, yeah, he definitely not going to face Keith Thurman now. And he fought Andre Berto, okay? He fought everybody. He fought Pacquiao, everybody. He wanted to face Andre Berto. He was trying to face Andre Berto every time Andre Berto would fuck it up by losing, okay? He wanted to face Andre Berto. Why? I don't know. But he wanted to face Andre Berto. So he faced Andre Berto. Why? Can I be mad at him? No. Okay? That's his thing. He wanted to face Andre Berto. Fine. Okay? Fine. Here's what it is. Okay? I think it's a cherry pick because he could have faced better opposition. Y'all might say I'm tough on him or whatever. I don't care. It was a cherry pick. Okay? It was an easy fight. Right? But he wanted to face Andre Berto. He was supposed to face Andre Berto in 2011. Instead, Andre Berto fucked up his fight. And he ended up facing Victor Ortiz. He tried to face Andre Berto in 2013. Or 2012, sorry. Andre Berto fucked it up again. Let Robert Guerrero beat his ass up. Okay? So Floyd said, well, if they could beat his ass, I'm going to beat his ass. Fuck no. Berto ain't that, he ain't that weak that you think. And it's a different Andre Berto, right? He even lost, Andre Berto even lost against Soto Carras. He fucked that up too. Couldn't get the W. Soto Carras actually stopped him, right? He fucked it up. And he still got his shot at Floyd, which is why I thought it was undeserving, even though he did come off with 2 wins or whatever. And then he came right after that, and Sean Porter knocked his fucking ass out. Andre Berto. Good fighter, yes, but not on Floyd's level. That's why we call it a cherry pick. Because what Floyd was facing, he was facing world champions. He was facing guys that actually was doing shit, that actually give him competition, or at least people thought so. Okay? Right? He faced, trust me, if Floyd had faced Amir Khan and knocked Amir Khan out, y'all have been talking shit about how he ducked Marcos Maidana. Don't even start with me. But Marcos Maidana, he ain't no fighter. You know what are the most dangerous fighters? The ones that are unorthodox, that don't throw orthodox shots. They're harder fighters to face. Any day, any time. Right? So Marcos Maidana was always going to be a tougher fight than Amir Khan for Floyd Mayweather. Even though Paulie Malignaggi believes that Khan's speed would have done something. Yeah, he got beat by Paulie Malignaggi. But Paulie Malignaggi by Amir Khan. But Paulie Malignaggi, you saw what Canelo did to him. How Canelo broke him down to the body. Canelo ain't as fast as Floyd. And Canelo knocked Amir Khan out. Okay, Canelo's much bigger than Amir Khan, but the thing is, he had to break him down to knock him out. Okay? So, all this talk about Amir Khan would have beaten Floyd, come on. Zab Judah didn't even beat Floyd, and Zab Judah's pretty quick. Okay? Amir Khan's faster than Zab Judah, but he's quick. He's sharp. Right? And Zab Judah couldn't beat Floyd Mayweather. So how is Amir Khan going to beat Floyd Mayweather? Come on, make it make sense, man. Make it make fucking sense. Make it make sense. African American Thought says Floyd handled Marquez easy. Come on, man. You got to give him what he says. He is the best ever. It's just give the man what give him his respect he's due. And give fucking Andre Ward the respect he's due. Andre Ward is he's an all-time great, first of all. Y'all give the man his due. Andre Ward to me, Andre Ward walks in the same sort of, I wish I could have seen Floyd versus Andre Ward. think would win between Andre Ward and Floyd Mayweather? That's a great question. Because Andre Ward is a dude, he's not going to go into no fucking fight not ready. He took no one for granted. He would be a tough fight for Floyd. Think about what I'm saying. Andre Ward's preparation is always on point. Mosley, you said mostly crack him, get the smoke. Mosley cracked him. And that mean what? What happened after he cracked him? And Floyd took it too. He took the shot. He didn't even go down. Mosley hit him with a shot from fucking hell. And Mosley used to knock out people with that shot. And Floyd didn't even go down. He buckled, but he didn't go down. He hit him 2 times. He got him good 2 times. Buckled his ass, but that was about it. And Mosley could crack. And that's it for Mosley. African American Thought says Zab's fight was tough. Think about what you're saying, people. You got to go to a fight where the only moment the dude had in the fight was catching the guy off guard and cracking him with a shot, and he couldn't even drop him. When you think about that shit, think about what you're saying. Lots of people say, oh, Floyd would get knocked out by Thomas Hearns. How are you so sure about that? Mosley can crack. Everybody knows Mosley can crack. He knocked out guys with 1 punch. Mosley knocked out guys with 1 punch. Mosley been at super fucking welterweight, for crying out loud. Okay? He knocked out guys there. Mosley can crack. So why is it? Another guy that would be interesting fight would be Vernon Forrest versus Floyd Mayweather. When Vernon Forrest was in his heyday at welterweight. Not talking about when he was a super welterweight where he hurt his arm. Right? My point anyway is, if Mosley couldn't put Floyd down, right? If Marcus Maidana couldn't put him down with a flush fucking right to his face, Marcus Maidana didn't put him down. Pacquiao couldn't put him down. Okay? These are guys that can crack. Oscar couldn't do shit to him. Oscar didn't do nothing. He hit him with a jab. So he caught him once or twice with a jab and bloodied his nose. But Oscar couldn't do shit to him. How the fuck somebody else is going to knock out Floyd? Like, really, seriously, people. I'm serious. Everybody think Floyd can get knocked out. Why do they think that? That's the thing I never quite understood. Zab caught him flush and didn't put him down. Right? Cotto bloodied his nose. Right? Cotto was wearing him down, grinding him down. He still couldn't get him out of there. And Cotto fought a smart fucking fight. He used the elbows, he used the forearms, he used his shins. He used all this shit on Floyd. And he still couldn't get him out of there. And Floyd still almost dropped his ass in the final round. Think about what I'm saying. The standard's so fucking high for Floyd. And y'all don't realize that shit. That's all I'm saying. Zab fight was tough for a little while until Zab lost focus. Afro-American Thoughts. Nah, he was getting his ass beat. He was getting body shots all the time. He didn't just lose focus. He was getting broken down slowly. Floyd was breaking his ass down. Floyd stuck to the game plan and broke his ass down. He kept on putting the pressure on Zab too. And Floyd said Zab kind of breaks down under pressure. So he fought Zab coming forward. Again, the only point I can give you guys that makes sense is Floyd had seen Zab lose to certain fighters. Carlos Baldomir beat him off of pressure. So Floyd had a game plan for Zab. You could say that. You could even say that Floyd had a game plan for Zab. Not from the Costa Zoo fight particularly, but from watching the Carlos Baldomir fight. Raul Ramirez. Manny Pacquiao versus Canelo Alvarez is 154 pounds. Who will win? Alvarez got too good a defense. Way too good a defense. That's like a bigger Floyd. Probably even stop Pacquiao. Till you go to the body. That's Pacquiao too small for Canelo. Canelo would beat him up. Even if it was at welterweight, a fantasy fight, Canelo still beat Pacquiao. Y'all underestimate the skills that Canelo has, I realize. He got a lot of skill, man. The boy got skills. Get the Smoke says it's a marketing strategy. Doesn't make it wrong. Again, he is branding himself. So he's branding himself. But don't do that. The man put down the foundation work. He put in the work. A lot of young fighters believe what you believe, and they believe they could just market themselves and make it in the business, and then they get exposed. Floyd did not do that. He stayed true to boxing. He committed himself to the sport of boxing. There were no days off. This motherfucker really trained. He conditioned himself. He faced the very best. He put down a legacy. Then he started marketing it. And he always speak it, believe it, receive it. The same thing Wilder did. Even before he was what he was speaking it into existence. Before the evidence was there that he was better than Sugar Ray Robinson. Before the evidence is there that he was better than Muhammad Ali. He was speaking that shit. And people was like, even the great Emmanuel Stewart was like, who does this young guy think he is? He ain't no real boxer. And then he went to then Emmanuel Stewart went to the other extreme. And he was jealous. And he was angry, that this kid be talking this big talk. But then when he goes in the ring, he just boxing the guys. That's all he doing. Talk about he didn't have a jab and all kinds of shit. Emmanuel Stewart said that was just stupid. We saw Floyd jab a southpaw coming forward in Manny Pacquiao. It's hard to throw a jab against a guy like Manny Pacquiao to start with. You usually use your lead right hand. Floyd was jabbing Pacquiao and landing the jab on Pacquiao. That shit is just, you don't even understand how difficult that shit is, okay? That Floyd was doing. And it's just one of those things where a lot of people, they just don't understand. They have so much hate for Floyd, and most people don't know shit about boxing. So they don't understand angles. They don't understand you don't just throw a jab. It's just throw a jab, okay? You got to have footwork. You got to move. You got to change levels. You got to, it's so much shit to it. You got to feint and shit before you throw a jab. You can't be predictable. You can't throw the same kind of jab all the time and all this shit. A lot of people just don't understand the shit. You got to be in the proper defense. You got to get your hands back in the position. There's a lot of shit you got to do when you throw a jab. It's not just throw a fucking jab. You know what I'm saying? I even heard them mouth that on DAZN just recently when they were talking about Joshua versus Ruiz 2. They finally talking boxing. You hear David Hay talking about all this shit. I don't know if you guys watch that program. And I've been saying it over and over again. It's not just throwing the fucking jab. Oh, he got a good jab. Which means what? What does he do with his good jab? What does he do with it? Marcus Maidana changed levels, jab from low to high, stepping in. Sometimes he doubled the jab. A good jab is one you can't see. You can't see that the guy's going to throw the jab. Some guys throw their jab like if they're going to hook. Some guys throw the jab like if they're going to throw the right. Like Kovalov, he masks his jab with his right hand. He show you the right hand and he throw the jab. You got jab off of feints and all that shit. I mean, oh man. And when I say jab off of feint and pivot, they stay out of the line of fire and all that shit. Man, whatever. Anyway, let me see what y'all say. Robert Marie says, okay. Get This Smoke says, aspiring to be the best and plagiarism aren't synonymous. Again, you're talking shit. It's not plagiarism when you're beating records. Okay, 50-0 is not plagiarized. 50-0 beat Rocky Marciano's record. All right? 26 undefeated fights. Being wins, where you win all your 26 fights, matching Joe Louis's record is not something he was consciously thinking about. Oh, how can I match Joe Louis's record? Otherwise, he'd have surpassed it. He would have faced Shane Mosley for the WBA title that Shane Mosley had. He didn't bother to do that. He could have surpassed that too. He wasn't keeping track of shit. Well, later on, he was keeping track of Rocky Marciano's record after the Pacquiao fight, but for the most part, he wasn't even keeping track of shit. He was just building a legacy, fighting the best. He was trying to get the best fights out of there. In politics, let me tell you why. Again, I'm going to say it again for all y'all out there. The reason why they clown Floyd and shit is because he started talking shit about Pacquiao to start with. The second thing of all was, when the fight fell through in 2010 against Pacquiao, right? The fight fell through. That's when Floyd get bitter and talking about, get this midget need to come and serve me rice, racial shit. That riled up the Pacquiao fans. But really and truly, Floyd was angry that Manny Pacquiao didn't take the fight. Bob Arum and Manny Pacquiao walked away from the fight in 2010. He was pissed, okay? Because he came out of fucking retirement to face Manny Pacquiao, for those of you who didn't know. That's why he had the Marquez fight. Marquez was the same size with Pacquiao. Marquez used to give Pacquiao problems. Marquez wanted to build up a legacy like Pacquiao. Pacquiao beat Oscar De La Hoya. Marquez wanted to be the world champion and the best in the world. And he wanted to show Pacquiao, I could one better you. Marquez and Pacquiao is like Eric Morales and Antonio Barrera, okay? So Marquez wanted to better Pacquiao. That's all he wanted to do. He wanted to prove the point, I'm better than you, okay? That's why he retired after he beat Pacquiao. He was cool. I definitely won this thing. I wanted everybody to know I'm the best, not Pacquiao, okay? So Marquez went up to face Floyd. Yeah, there was a catchweight thing. Floyd didn't keep the catchweight thing, right? Whatever. He dominated fucking Marquez, right? Did Marquez win a round? He had a moment in a round, but did he even win a round? He didn't even win a fucking round, okay? Everybody was like, poor Marquez. Floyd looked like he could knock him out. I hope Marquez makes it to the end, okay? That's how dominant that shit was, right? Beat up Marquez. Now, you asked me, back in 2010, if Pacquiao faced Floyd, you think Pacquiao was going to last? Look what he did to Marquez. What do you think he would have done to Pacquiao? So when the Pacquiao fight actually happened, Floyd beat Pacquiao like if Pacquiao was nobody. All right? Now, if that had happened back in 2010, we wouldn't be talking about Pacquiao to this day. Bob Arum would have had nothing. So Bob Arum and Pacquiao ducked Floyd for as long as they could. Particularly Bob Arum, not Pacquiao so much. They didn't want that. They didn't want to face Floyd. And that was when Floyd was past his prime. He was past his prime, but he was better than he is now. He's smarter now, but he was better than he was in 2015. The Floyd in 2015 was a bit sloppy. You look at his check hooks, he'd be clubbing you behind your ear and shit. He's not even throwing his punches properly, right? Because he decayed. He had two bad hands. He had a bad knee, and he had two bad shoulders. Fighting with injuries. Everybody talking about Floyd still in his prime. No, motherfucker, he's not in his prime at all. Y'all go watch Pretty Boy Floyd. I watched Floyd Mayweather. Look at the Floyd face of Turagatti and look at the Floyd now. He decayed a lot. He used a lot of skills, but he wasn't in his fucking prime. When he faced Oscar De La Hoya, he looked much better than when he faced Pacquiao in 2015. Y'all just go watch it. He decayed. But he fought smart. He learned how to fight. So he pot shot so he wouldn't be engaging you too much in trades. He conserved himself like Canelo's doing today. It was very technical, very strategic, very, very still giving you them little glimpses of brilliance, but he conserved himself. Okay? Andre Ward. Andre Ward wasn't the Andre Ward in the Super 6 series. No, he decayed. But the motherfucker still knew how to conserve himself. He got better and better. You get better and better as a fighter. You may look better and better, but the thing about it is, the impressive thing is really that you're able to conserve yourself, not take too much punishment, and be smart. Fucking smart. So all those great fights you saw in the throwback fighters and days, Floyd would have made those fights look, for the common person, boring as fuck. Because he would have done certain things to nullify certain shit that the guys and they did good. Because Mosley was an all-round fighter. Oscar was an all-round fighter. Cotto, bad motherfucker. All-round fighter. Unique style. Susceptible to the uppercut. Right? So, you ain't gonna just... Cotto run through guys. Cotto run through guys. That's what Cotto do. Even when he was a smaller guy against Daniel Gill, he ran through him, right? Cotto ain't no joke. He didn't run through Canelo, because Canelo is the bigger dude of the two. And Canelo got the Floyd Mayweather skills, so it was like, he was going Floyd Mayweather and Cotto all the time. He was boxing his ass off. Cotto had that jab, right? And every now and then he landed a jab on Canelo, and Canelo would look at him like, when you hit Canelo with a really hard, sharp shot, but he's so strong that he give you that mug face, like, fuck is this? What the fuck you just hit me with? We saw that a couple times in that fight, right? It looked like Canelo was going to stop Cotto late, but Cotto kept on with his onslaught and his little jab, kept him off, right? Cotto obviously was a smaller guy of the two, right? But the point is, anyway, that, Cotto, bad motherfucker. He's a bad motherfucker. He was a bad motherfucker. That's just what it is. He got knocked out by Pacquiao, or stopped by Pacquiao, should I say. And he got butchered by Antonio Margarito. But other than that, Cotto was a bad motherfucker. Okay, got outboxed by Austin Trout too, coming off a loss to Mayweather. But he was a bad motherfucker. Let's just give him his props, right? My point being, anyway, because I think I lost my point, my train of thought. My point being, anyway, that these guys, right? Cotto, Oscar, Shane Mosley, they have all-around game. They can do it all. They can fight on the inside. They can fight on the outside. They can box. They can bang, right? Pacquiao can't do it all. Okay, we all know that. But he's got some skill. He can do a little something on the inside now. I see body shots are pretty good. But them guys can do it all. And Floyd still beat them. See what I'm saying? Because he disarmed them. He took away some of the things that he do. But Cotto was the guy. Cotto still did what Cotto wanted to do. Cotto still did what he would have just, Floyd was just better, right? But at the end of the day, most of the time, Floyd take away what you do well, and then he use it back on you, right? And other things. That's just what Floyd do, right? Bernard Hopkins do something like that, but not to the extent. He disarm you, and then he do his thing. He do Bernard Hopkins thing. But Floyd, he literally learning what you do. He's watching you, so like they say, Floyd always watch you. He watch you plenty. He's observing about everything in that ring, and he watch you, and he learn your style from you. Then he would take elements of your style and he'll use it back on you. Literally, he'll use what he sees you doing. He'll use it back on you because, they say the greatest way to learn from another boxer is to actually face them in the ring. So he's actually learning you, your style, what you do, and then he's going to use some of what you do back on you. That's what he do. The way how he dissected Oscar was just brilliant as well. I saw some really brilliant things I never seen before. Anyways, that's besides the point. So I'm just saying, where guys had drag out fights, where guys could do multiple different things, Floyd's a dude that would still make them get outclassed. He'd outclass them. He'd make necessary adjustments. He's not going to just do the same thing over and over. Andre Berter is so good. It's unbelievable. That's funny. Not at all. Albert is like Amir Khan. Fast hands, nothing else really. Yeah, defense he get hit too much, man. Too damn much. He like a punching fucking bag. Then he don't have the shoulder roll defense no more. Puvi Sistra, Oscar De La Hoya versus Canelo. Who you got? Canelo. Beats the brakes off of Oscar. Puvi Sistra says Ward won't beat Canelo, so stop it. Why not? Yeah, he beat Canelo. Ward prepared for fights, man. This man knows how to win. He beat Canelo. He beat Canelo. If he come out of retirement tomorrow, get his tune-up fights and shit, he'll beat Canelo. He's still a young guy. But by the end of Canelo's career, I don't know if he'll beat him. Canelo's learning at a phenomenal rate, man. Afro-American thoughts. Good fight, but Floyd's defense is tighter than Ward. And he could do more than Ward. He's God-gifted. So I think that's the little difference. He make adjustments a little faster, too. Afro-American thought says, Floyd could have stopped Cotto if he pressed the fight. Nah. He tried. He's smaller than Cotto. He wasn't stopping nothing. He might have dropped him. That's about it. He caught him with that uppercut. He was wearing him down a little bit, but Cotto was still fighting, man. But he caught him with that uppercut. And Cotto lost his balance for a second. And you saw Floyd went in a circle. He didn't go straight back. He turned him. Afro-American thought says people like to make dumb excuses like Pacquiao was old, as if Floyd isn't older than Pacquiao. Man, Floyd, y'all don't even understand the sacrifice that motherfucker made just to stay in the game of boxing. And then after that, to hear he's been marketing and shit. Come on, man. If Floyd behaving like an ass right now, no doubt about that. But he earned the right to behave like an ass. You get what I'm saying? He even hating on younger fighters and shit. And I'll be like, come on, man, Floyd. Come on. You talk about fighters hating on you and then you go and hate on them. Come on, man. I know your paycheck is dependent on it, but come on, man. Let's stop that shit. Porter's like Frazier in style. Some aspects of him are like Joe Frazier. Yeah, yeah. He got tagged and shit, and he still keep coming too. Yeah, but Porter's more aggressive. He remind me of Aaron Pryor. Very aggressive fighter. He don't have the pop. He don't have the pop like Aaron Pryor, but he's very aggressive. Very, very aggressive dude. He got skills too. A lot of skills. And he's tightening up his defense. His defense is getting better. Raul Ramirez says Lomachenko supposedly said he wasn't impressed with Canelo's performance against Kovalev. And we're impressed with his performance against Luke Campbell. Get the fuck out of here. Came out of the fight looking bruised up and his eyes all puffy and shit. Afro-American Thought says Porter is like a less disciplined Tyson also. A less disciplined Tyson. Oh, you mean less accurate. Okay. I got you. He's disciplined. Porter's more disciplined than Tyson was. You just gotta understand, Porter has to make weight, which means he's mainly a super middleweight, and this dude be compressed all the way down to welterweight. That's some crazy ass shit. He gotta be really disciplined, and they know how to do it. And Porter always stay ready. Sean Porter, baby. Now, that's a good fighter. But in terms of fundamentals, I think he's just not as accurate. But he's getting there. He's getting there. He's getting tighter and tighter in what he's doing. And he's got it down to a science now. The next fight, he's going to look even better. So I'm looking forward to that. Oh, it's about to rain. Oh, shit, it's almost 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Willie Pep versus Loma. No, that's a good fight. That's a good fight. I don't know. I had to think about it. I don't know. I want Crawford versus Porter. Yeah, me too. I would love that fight. Crawford versus Porter. Crawford be back. Crawford and Porter be like bucking on that shit though. Porter be talking about like that's my friend, and I have to talk with him first. And Terrence is like, that's my friend. I'm like, fuck that. If you're a friend, give him a payday. If he's really your friend, then give him a fucking payday. Don't y'all wanna get rich together? Give him an offer. Make him a payday. Y'all will still be friends after y'all fight. Don't give me that shit. Both of them should face each other. I agree. Don't tell me after all that shit that Terrence Crawford talked. Don't tell me about across the pond now. Make that fucking fight happen. Yeah. Just being, we got to be honest, man. I ain't mad at Terrence Crawford. He doing what he do. He getting his paychecks. Here's what it is. Uncle Bob be running the show. Tell him, you got to face Gavaliauskas. Terrence be trying to look for another opponent. Nope, you got to face Gavaliauskas. He's mandatory. Poor Terrence got to just face Gavaliauskas. You think Terrence like that? You think Terrence, in his DNA, he want to face a Gavaliauskas, but you got to make it sound like he a credible opponent. Yeah, Gavaliauskas, man. Yeah, that dude, man, he a good fighter, man. Terrence gonna go in there and knock his ass out. You got to take it out on somebody. Knock his ass out, Terrence. Go knock his ass out. Show him that this motherfucker ain't supposed to even be in the ring with you. And tell Bob, man, come on now. We got to face somebody notable. Crawford had that Floyd and Ward kind of cloth. Yeah, for sure. He come from that cloth. Always in shape. Always, taking care of his body. Yeah. The brothers he on point. You know what I'm saying? He on point. He the real deal. Don't get me wrong. He the real deal. I don't hate Terrence. I was just thinking he was too small for the division, but he good. He right weight and everything. It's just get him to fights now. Looking forward to that. But you can't call him pound for pound number one. What I'm saying is you can't do that shit. You can't call him pound for pound number one. He ain't facing nobody. If Canelo was facing duds, like Lomachenko was facing. I'm not saying that Lomachenko facing does, but he facing okay guys, but nowhere on the level of. Look, we are going in on Terrence Crawford. You think Lomachenko doing any better? He's doing a little bit better. You know, he faced a Luke Campbell, right? People rate Luke Campbell highly. I don't think he should be rated that highly, but they rate Luke Campbell, right? And he got puffy eyes off of that fucking fight, okay? And then they rate Anthony Corolla, right? They rate them too. But come on now. Terrence Crawford faced a better opposition. He faced better opposition than Egidijus Kaliovskis. Okay, that's not better opposition. But Amir Khan is a better opponent than Anthony fucking Corolla. Okay? And Luke Campbell. I hate to say it, but it's true. If you really think about it. I mean, okay, maybe I'm pushing it. Maybe Amir Khan's not better, but my point is, he's more accomplished. You know what I'm saying? He's more accomplished, man. You know? But look at the double standards. They're not saying nothing about Lomachenko. They're saying everything about it going in on Terrence. Right? And we all know Terrence would beat the fuck off of Lomachenko. He beat the shit out of Lomachenko. He beat the brakes off of him. Okay? Let's be real. He'd beat Lomachenko up. All right? He'd beat Lomachenko up. Pacquiao beat Lomachenko up as well. But we're not going to even talk about Floyd. You know what Floyd do to them kind of fighters. Right? You know what Floyd does to those kinds of fighters. Right? So we're not going to talk about Floyd. Right? He's not in the discussion. Yeah, Terrence would tear that ass up. Mikey Garcia would beat his ass. Okay? Let's be real. Lomachenko's a good fighter. Don't get it twisted, but he get beat by them guys. All right, I can't say, Gervonta Davis, I think he would beat him. I think Gervonta would beat him. Devin Haney didn't look like he was ready, but give him his shot. He can't lose out on it. It'll be a learning experience, and if he beat Lomachenko, he beat Lomachenko. Obviously Lomachenko knows that's a tough fight, and he's not going to get paid for it. So he ain't just want to just roll into a fight like that. Prefer a Richard Comey or a Teofimo Lopez particularly. And he thinks Comey going to beat Lopez. So if Lopez get past Comey, he happy to face Lopez because he thinks he can beat Lopez. Right? This is the thing we got to watch, man. We got to be paying attention. Anyway, I got to go and eat. So Floyd Mayweather TBE, this is why I think he's the best ever. I'm not saying that he's the greatest. Fuck no. I'm never going to say that. He's not the greatest. And I don't care what he says. He's not the greatest. Okay? But when it comes to boxing, that motherfucker is sick. All right? And I've always wanted to show you guys a lot of stuff that he does. I love what Canelo does, but I don't want to expose too much about Canelo, but I'm still going to show you anyway. But like some people are doing the breakdowns of Canelo, the subtleties and just the way how he slips punches so subtly. Like he really worked on that shit so he doesn't expend a whole bunch of energy. How he rolls and slips punches, just beautiful to watch. How he gets himself in the angles and positioning. It's just sick to watch. Afro-American Thought says, I think Lopez beats Comey, but Comey is a big puncher. The thing about it is, Comey got a good right hand, and Lopez showed that he's still susceptible to those right hands. He's going to get hit with right hands again. So, I mean, people talking up Lopez and shit, but I feel he got more mouth than he got substance. You know what I'm saying? I got more confidence in Haney than I got in Lopez. Lopez got to show me something against Comey. Show me that he's ready for Comey. Because he was saying early on that he didn't think he was ready for Comey. He was ready to have a tune-up fight. And Comey was like, motherfucker, you made it this far. You're going to have to face me. You know what I'm saying? So, but I don't think that Comey beats Lomachenko. People saying that Comey beats Lomachenko. I just don't see it. But I haven't seen Comey really fight, so I can't really say. I just know he had victories over some notable opponents. And Andre Roger is the guy that trains him, so Andre Roger knows what the fuck he doing, so all of that you got to factor in. Anyway, peoples, I got to get out of here. Been talking for 2 hours and 14 minutes, 30 seconds, really about Floyd Mayweather TBE. And just addressing Get the Smoke, because Get the Smoke was talking about some other factors and other things. And I just thought that I just thought that I just thought that I would talk to you guys about this, address this issue, because I do think that this guy, I don't think that I think he earned what he's saying. I don't think he bullshit himself in any time. At any time, he was bullshitting himself about who he was. And I think people just don't appreciate the sacrifice this motherfucker did and the commitment to the sport of boxing. Now, Floyd be talking a lot of shit of late. To be honest with you, I can't even take him seriously no more. But what he did in his career, though, what he did in his career, in his boxing career, and even how he's handling Gervonta Davis' career, I mean, I'm not the most pleased with it either. Okay, he was starting to match Gervonta Davis tough. Gervonta Davis had the Jose Jose the kid now, the Puerto Rican kid. He faced him, which is a big step up for him, and he bitched about it. He bitched to Floyd about it, and so Floyd has been matching him easy, you know. And because Floyd, you know, if y'all know about Floyd, you look at fucking Badu Jack's career. You even look at Ladarius Miller, all these other people with TMT. Floyd have been matching them all fucking tough. Okay, they've been getting tough matchups. The matchmakers have been matching them tough, and that's how they started losing fights and shit. Okay, Badu Jack is the guy I was thinking about. Yeah, he been matching them tough. So he started matching Gervonta Davis tough. He had that step up. Jose, stop with the fucking Ramirez and Benavidez. Clear your head of that. It's not Napolis either. God damn it. Shit, I can't remember the kid's surname. I'm getting all these other fucking names in my head and it's just messing with me. But anyway, you know who I'm talking about. The guy that Loma faced as well. Had difficulty with. The point is, Floyd matched him tough with that dude, went 7 rounds, dude gave him some work, and then he stopped him. And after that, Gervonta Davis started bitching like a motherfucker. And that's why Floyd had to match him up easy. All right? He bitched about that shit to Floyd. You know? Like Ninja want to coast and become a superstar. I like, man, fuck, man. Gervonta, come on, man. Come on, dude. Step up in your fucking competition. Gamboa's a little step up from the competition you've been facing of late. You should be facing much better competition than that. And everybody been criticizing Gervonta Davis for that shit. Okay? So, Shane Mosley and Oscar De La Hoya were friends, Raul Ramirez says, but they still fought. Exactly. Exactly. Poobie Sister says HBO needs to come back to boxing. Fuck no. God, no. Don't have them motherfuckers come back into boxing. I had enough of Jim Lampley and fucking Larry Merchant. Afro-American Thoughts. I think Lopez beats Comey, but Comey's a big puncher. African-American Thoughts says Comey is basic to beat. Is basic to beat Lopez. Battery power is 15%. Okay, fine. I'm going to plug it in a minute. Ron Ramirez says Lomachenko is the greatest I've ever seen. All right. If you say so. It's funny. Let me just say this, though. Lomachenko has some nice footwork. I really appreciate his footwork. You know, his footwork is on point. I like his footwork. Mayweather saw the numbers KSI versus Logan Paul and decided to return to fight KSI. That's proof that he can school these YouTubers in a boxing match. Ron Ramirez is laughing at it as well. Oh man, Floyd looked like he might even actually fight a YouTuber. You just never know. Floyd marketed it like they didn't have nobody in boxing. They had nobody in MMA. We had to go pick a YouTuber. Oh man, Floyd is so full of shit at times. Floyd's silly. Yeah, but oh shit. Oh man. Yes. Anyway, enough of Floyd Mayweather when it comes to this. So that's my video on it, just to reply to Get the Smoke. Because I feel like The dude not getting the credit he deserves, and that's why I talk about him. I talk about Danny Garcia a lot as well. You guys don't like me talking about Danny Garcia, but I think he's a hell of a fucking fighter, and I think he didn't get the credit he deserves as well. You'll hear me talk about Canelo, of course, and you'll also hear me talk about fighters like um, what's his name, Badu Jack. You'll hear me talk about fighters like there's another guy that y'all be dissing. Everybody be dissing. Deontay Wilder, yeah. Deontay Wilder. And I also talk about Anthony Joshua also, who doesn't get the credit he deserves because he beat world champions. And y'all Wilder fans be going in on Anthony Joshua, but he accomplished much more than fucking Wilder did. Let's be real, okay? He was undisputed. He was a unified world champion, okay? Took on hard challenges like he's going to rematch Andy Ruiz, which is a style that does not benefit him. Andy Ruiz probably will whoop his ass again. But the point is, the motherfucker be taking on challenges. Wilder's not doing that shit. He be rematching like a motherfucker right now. He be matching Luis Ortiz, which is an unnecessary fucking rematch, okay? It's unnecessary. It is. It's unnecessary. Why the hell is he facing Luis Ortiz right now? Why? Why? He can't face somebody else? Come on. The rematch with Tyson Fury, okay, I give him that. That one's a legitimate rematch he should have. It was a draw. We know Tyson Fury beat his ass, but it is what it is, right? So, a rematch is in order, okay? But to tell me that you should be rematching Luis Ortiz, why? Why ain't you facing Dillian White? Okay? Yes, I heard what the WC president, Mauricio Suleiman, said, but guess what? He's not suspended from boxing. You can still face Dillian White. He's suspended from his mandatory. He's no longer a mandatory. He's not longer interim. He's suspended from that. And they're looking like they want to put what's his name? Usyk in that position instead. Okay? But show us that you are going to face. You should have faced Dillian White. What are you rematching Luis Ortiz for? I don't understand that thing. Oh, his daughter and blah 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 blah. He needs a paycheck to help his daughter. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. He could get the money from Al Haim. He could get it from another fight. So we don't buy that shit. Okay? No. This is an unnecessary rematch, and I am not interested in it. That's why you haven't heard me talking about it. He should be facing Dillian White. Why are you not facing Dillian White? You beat Dillian White easy. Easy, you beat Dillian White. Why you couldn't just face the dude? And in the story, dude get his shot. He can't say shit after he gets knocked out. And that would have been that. But everybody is finding an excuse and a reason not to face another person. For whatever reason, politics, whatever. Okay? Lomachenko be ducking. Canelo be ducking. Wilder be ducking. Right? And y'all just do it in sophisticated ways. Right? Y'all set up Dillian White so he don't have to face Wilder. Right? But he could face Wilder. But Wilder don't have to face him. Right? You look at fucking Charlo. Worked his way up to becoming a mandatory. Right? All of a sudden, Canelo is franchise champion. He don't have to face Charlo. Bullshit. Okay? I'm a Canelo fan. But it's bullshit. I call bullshit on bullshit. We had Dimitri, forget Dimitri Sandri. We have Lomachenko. Devin Haney worked his way up, said he was eyeing Lomachenko, right? Work his way up to face Lomachenko. Lomachenko become franchise champion. He don't have to face Devin Haney. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. And we call it what it is. Whether you're a fan or not, you got to call it as it is. It's bullshit. All right? Oh, what's your saying? We're going to get the best fights, the best. Well, what? Guess what, motherfucker? That was the best fight. That was the best fight in the best. It's your fucking sanctioning body does that shit. Y'all set up fucking mandatories for that reason. That's why Teofimo Lopez is facing Richard Comey. The best is fighting the best. That's why you have a sanctioning fucking body. What are you talking about? Canelo, oh, he wouldn't have faced Kovalov if he didn't. And he'd have been facing Jamal Charlo. A name in boxing. A former world champion. Young, strong. Okay, you don't want him to face Demetrius Andrew, but at least, okay, we could excuse the Demetrius Andrew thing because it's not a mandatory. But the motherfucker was a mandatory. Jamal Charlo was a mandatory, man. Dillian White was a mandatory, man. Fucking Devin Haney was a mandatory, man. Whether they're ready or not, give them their shot. Give them what they just do. They come up with a drug thing for Deontay Wilder. They come up with franchise champion for Lomachenko and Canelo. Come on now. Same fucking ass WBC involved. They pull away the interim champion status from fucking Dillian White. They make fucking Lomachenko a franchise champion and Canelo Alvarez so they wouldn't face their mandatories. Call a spade a spade. It's bullshit. Bullshit. Now y'all know this. Oh, Dillian White's a drug cheat. No, he's not. It's not confirmed. It's bullshit. And we need to call a spade a spade. I turned around and said, Deontay Wilder, he didn't accept the Anthony Joshua offer, but he gonna have bigger offers later on in his career. We know that. I came back and I said that because I don't have a fish to fry in this fucking race. I'm not a fan to the extent where I'm gonna skew the truth. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? Anyway, peoples, it's 2 o'clock in the day. I gotta go eat lunch. I'm gonna catch you guys later. But yeah, that's what I got with Floyd Mayweather TBE. But y'all, most people now are starting to recognize him as TBE, but they just don't know why. I put out so many videos out there just exposing people and the bullshit that they were saying. Like I heard one person say, there was an article done, and the dude was saying, you know, he never tried to face undisputed world champions, and that's bullshit. Okay? He tried to face Zab Judah, Jab Judah, drop the ball. Okay? He was going to be undisputed if he had beat Zab. Now, Carlos Baldomir could have been undisputed, but he didn't pay his sanctioning fees. So Floyd should have been undisputed, but he never got the opportunity because of the fucked up situation in the politics of boxing. Okay? It's just what it is. When we look at the case with Manny Pacquiao, again, he didn't give a fuck. So he didn't pay the sanctioning fees with the WBO. So they stripped him. Right? And he had one more world title to win with the IBF. He ain't bothered to get it from Kell Brook. He didn't care about that shit like that, apparently, at that point in his career. That's what it is. So, that's what I got to say about this dude. I'm moving on to something else. I don't really talk about Floyd Mayweather TBE so much. You guys can see on my playlist. Just go watch it. And you'll see all the evidence that it has with Floyd Mayweather TBE. I don't really bother about it. So that's the stream. This is a response to Get the Smoke. Shout out to Get the Smoke. Don't get it twisted, people. And one thing, y'all get a lot of shit twisted. That does not make Sugar Ray Robinson not a great fighter or one of the greatest fighters of all time. If not the greatest fighter of all time. Depends, right? That doesn't change that fact, right? And it doesn't change that he's not a great fighter. It's just that I'm pointing out things that Floyd did that he didn't do or he didn't do correctly. That's all I'm saying. Not saying that these are not great fighters. And the only way you guys will see that I appreciate the past greats and that they are the foundation on which present greats stand is by me doing videos on these guys, showing you how brilliant they were and the beautiful stuff that they do, the pivot work and all of that they do in boxing. Because I think a lot of you guys get the wrong impression when I start talking about these guys. I'm not trying to tear them down. I'm not trying to destroy them at all. It's just when I'm talking about one fighter versus another fighter, I'm showing you where these guys fell short, where this guy did not. Okay? We're comparing and contrasting. All right? It doesn't mean that these weren't great fighters of their time and even of all time. All right? And I think people will appreciate more of what I'm saying when I start breaking down these fighters. And I like to show you some of the present fighters and what they've been doing, building on what these past fighters are doing, but how they do it in a new modern way. Sometimes a more simplified way. Sometimes they have ways in which they have adapted or adjusted the foundation that these past greats have. And of course, everything's built on the fundamentals of boxing. So there will always be that fundamental thread, just like with fundamentals in basketball, fundamentals in sprinting, fundamentals in combat sports. The fundamentals are always going to be there, but then there's also this building on it. And that's the beauty of everything that I talk about. So I'll catch you guys later. I'll catch you guys tomorrow or today, later on today. I'm going to catch you guys later. I got to go sell things and do a lot of stuff. It's raining now, but I still got to go out and get something to eat. So I'm going to catch you guys later. You guys have a great one. Don't forget you can share, subscribe. You can comment also underneath this video and donate. All comments are welcome. Sometimes I blast you guys. You just have to take the blasting. Because sometimes I just really, some of the things some people say are just so outrageously wrong. I'm like, come on, man. Like, really. Anyway, you guys have a good one. I'm going to catch you guys later. Peace.